actually is running out of money because of the Iran war. They are almost 100% lying to us about the cost, and I'll break that down just here in a moment. But one of the funny things is I've been reading a ton of the stuff behind the scenes. The lawmakers, they've been bringing the lawmakers to the Pentagon for 4 to 6 hour meetings where they have chips and dip and AI-powered PowerPoints, and they're just walking them through why they need all this money. And even the Republicans are like, I just don't get it. They're like, where is the money going? And so the money...
And the Pentagon doesn't know either.
And they don't know. It's all fake.
Their own audit.
It's complete. Exactly. So first of all, they haven't passed an audit in 5 years. But the thing is it's entirely a slush fund. Basically, either for the Iran war or the whatever pet projects, that these Trump people have got going on in the background, for drones, or all kinds of these boondoggles that they have. They have zero justification. And if you look, and I've brought many of these up in the past, of these past projects, of the promised funding, I brought it up in our last show, $500 million to produce these new to reproduce these 155 millimeter shells, which were all given to Ukraine. And it's like, oops, in the 4 years, so almost the entirety of the United States experience in World War II, before we appropriated that money to today, not a single shell has rolled off of the assembly line. 500 million, it's gone. So how did that happen? Nobody can actually tell you why that happened. Basically, they bought the wrong part or they made the wrong bet. I'm like, you couldn't have fixed it like 2 years ago, 3 years ago? And then the Army's like, don't worry about it. We'll get it. There are all kinds of these types of reports. And at the same time that they're shaking us down for 1.5 trillion, the Pentagon is also stop releasing the F-35 report, which is due every single year to Congress, right? So they're covering that up, whatever happened with that F-35 over Iran, as well as the one that got clipped by the Houthis. They are stopping the release of all of these normal reports, which are congressionally mandated by Congress, so the public can figure this out. And then telling us with a straight face, if we don't get this 1.5 trillion, then this is the greatest threat that our country faces. It's insanity how this has been normalized.
Ken Klippenstein has a piece up to put all of this into perspective, and he says that all of World War II, all of it, from 1941 to 1945, cost the U.S. an estimated $4.5 trillion in today's inflation-adjusted dollars. Hegseth wants to spend even more than that over the next 4 years. He is asking for more money than we spent in all of World War II. If you want another comparison, let's take a look at how much does Iran spend for their military? $7.4 billion. And we brought you earlier this week that Washington Post report where military analysts were saying, hey, we're running low on basically everything. We cannot safely sustain this pace at all. It's not just, it's not just certain categories, missile interceptors or whatever that we're running low on. We actually are running low on everything. We cannot continue in this direction. And the White House is maybe not aware of what's going on here. I think any American has to look at this and be like, what are you doing? What is this money going towards? At a time when, this administration and a lot of fanfare at the beginning about DOGE, we got to cut the debt and the deficit, we're spending way too much money. And then you'll just casually go in and demand $1.5 trillion and say it's the greatest threat to the country if we don't fork it over? No, for a war that we don't even want to be in. It's complete and utter insanity. Yeah. And so, of course, members of Congress, certainly Democrats, but Republicans are feeling some pressure on this too, as he comes out, hat in hand, begging for more billions to fund something that no one wanted in the first place.
Right, and actually, I'm going to show everybody Pentagon math. So here's Hegseth on what the cost of the Iran war is. He says $37.5 billion. Then I'll show you what it actually costs. Let's take a listen.
I've been listening patiently while you made your presentation. You estimated at one point that the cost of the war in Iran was $29 billion, but then added a caveat that there was a replacement of munitions, for example. Do you have a new estimate about what the war has cost us so far in the fifth month of the first year of this war in Iran?
Senator, the estimate we have as of today is $37.5 billion.
And is the current activity, which we've been told about, the exchange of fire back and forth in Iran, an indication that number is going to go up in the months ahead?
Some of that number captures additional O&M, mill pay, and other that would be anticipated through the fiscal year. So some of that anticipates what cost would be going out in the future as well.
So the new number you've given me is what?
$37.5 billion.
And that represents the cost of the war through what period of time?
Through now for certain aspects of it, but also mill pay, O&M, other anticipated costs through September 30th, Senator.
All right, 37.5 billion. That's Pentagon. Now let's look at actual math. Let's put this one up here on the screen. The real cost is somewhere around 100 billion. And by the way, even that is a little bit of a lowball. So how exactly does the Pentagon, secretary go before Congress and say under oath that it's 37.5 billion? Well, you actually kind of heard it in his response, is not counting munitions and replacement costs, which is kind of an insane way to actually count it. And if anything, says that just operating costs, absent of what was shot, is 37.5 billion, should get everybody a heart attack. If the real cost is 100 billion, I just want to put this into perspective for everybody. For the 20 years that the United States spent trying to rebuild the Afghan National Security Forces, 20 years, we all remember what that project was like. The total cost of that operation was $100 billion. So 100 billion spent in 100 days versus 20 years. That's how much more efficient we've become at throwing away money. And where did the money go? Exactly. We can actually see that they're flat, going broke, because of the way that the budget is allocated. So let's put the next one up here on the screen. And this again shows you why they're so desperate for this $1.5 trillion cash injection. The Pentagon faces an urgent budget shortfall because of the Iran war. Already, they are limiting training and maintenance that help maintain military readiness. They continue to short several other critical departments of the Pentagon. The White House has now asked for an immediate infusion of $67 billion. Remember, that's $30 billion more than Pete Hegseth just said that the Iran war cost, just to help cover some of the costs. If you continue to actually look at where some of this stuff is going, you could see that it comes largely from airstrikes, it comes from replacement of munitions, it comes also from the operating costs of all of these different aircraft carriers, these strike groups, the forward deployment, the amount of resources and overtime and other things that they have to pay over here. This is just the direct cost of the war itself. This doesn't even factor in munition replacement, and that's with the 100 billion figure that I'm talking about. So the real cost is probably 200 to 300 billion.
Yeah.
Which is insane. I mean, that is so categorically nuts. At the time when I covered Afghanistan, I was like, this is more than we spent in Vietnam. And somehow we've blown out the Vietnam budget in 100 days. Yeah. Think about that. Was 500,000 American troops were there, and all the other insanity that we're doing. To be clear, I'm just talking specifically about the Afghan national security costs. But if you want to put Iraq into that too, $4 trillion, again, it took 16, 17 years. I mean, we're on track actually already. And we don't even have any troops that are on the ground. I mean, imagine what that will cost.
And it also doesn't take into account rebuilding the bases that have been obliterated, but those bases may never be rebuilt. I mean, there may be no reason to go back to clearly the basing strategy has completely failed. I don't know that those countries are going to be super excited about us going back in and rebuilding and setting up shop after all of this, whenever all of this is over. But hey, you just look at it and you're like, where is the money going? Like, what are you actually, you're out of everything, you're having to skimp on training and maintenance, and you're begging for more billions? Like, what is actually happening here? I genuinely don't understand. And by the way, they don't really understand either, because they can't pass an audit. So they don't know where the money is coming from, going to either. Ryan made a good point. He's like, how do you know you're out of money when you can't even do your own audit? Like, how does that even work?
What happens is you check the bank account and you see that it's low, but you don't know where it all went. I mean, we're a small business. I can't even run shit like that.
Can you imagine?
They're the government.
Yeah. And meanwhile, it's like, oh, well, we need ammo, but that'll take years, and we're low on this, and that radar system is defunct. And what has happened? I mean, it really speaks to the way that we have outsourced all of this to these grifting military-industrial complex defense contractors. They jack up the price on everything. We're completely beholden to them. There's an absolute revolving door between the Pentagon and between industry. No one has any incentive to do anything intelligently or in a cost-effective way. Meanwhile, Iran is churning out their Shahed drones at low cost, like there's no tomorrow. They actually, as a middle-income country, have maintained their industrial base, so they're able to do that and spin up production, no problem. Here we are, the supposed superpower, and there's no equivalent ability to, flip a switch and in anything approaching a cost-effective manner, spin these things up. So it's just a complete indictment of the entire system that we have constructed. And Rubio has the gall to come out and be like, oh, the Iranians are spending all their money on their military rather than helping their people. First of all, we're attacking them, so they're under existential threat. I imagine there are people right now are quite understanding of why the military budget needs to be upped a little bit while they're directly at war with us and with Israel. And by the way, everybody else in the region who, these attacks are being launched from. Second of all, look at our country. Trump literally came out and said, well, we can't have nice things because we got to spend all this money on our military. Like, this is what you're doing, $1.5 trillion, and it's the greatest threat to our country if we don't hand all of that over to you.
And $1.5 trillion for what? What will it get us?
Right.
More munitions? Because that's what they always say, more money. Where's the bullets? The bullets don't exist. It's like, where's the Tomahawk missiles? Oh, that'll be 6 years. Sorry. Remember I covered this story, how Japan, so we went to Japan and we shook them down. We're like, hey, you guys got to buy some Tomahawks. The Japanese are like, okay, we'll buy some. Here's our money. Here's the order. And then you know what happened? We launched the Iran war and we're like, yeah, you're going to have to wait a few years for those Tomahawk missiles, if they come at all sometime in the future. That's one minuscule example. And this whole supply chain, it's a nightmare. From the Tomahawk missiles, I was talking to you guys privately about gun cotton. There's one factory in the whole United States that makes gun cotton. It's one of the most critical inputs for these artillery ships. One, it's in Radford, Virginia. If it goes on fire, which is literally a highly flammable substance, good luck. We're out, and so is half of NATO, where they import 40-something% of their gun cotton also comes from that same factory. What are we gonna do? And there's no modernization, there's no actual efficiency. You're talking about the Shahed drone, it costs $20,000 to $100,000 a pop. Something like these Tomahawk missiles, $4 or $5 million. And they have to be built at one factory in Arizona. Where is the money going? For what purpose? And how, no other, and not to say government is a business, but the sheer, even attempt at trying to have some level of efficiency. And then if you're going to say that we're running it like the government, we should make it hardened, as in not very vulnerable to potential disasters or problems like a fire, at one factory, which is deeply critical. They don't even do that. The F-30, all they're doing is covering up all of the problems that exist in these gigantic boondoggles. And all of us are the ones who are paying for it only goes exponential in terms of the cost. That's what's so staggering when you compare the Afghan conflict to this one. You're like, how did you accomplish the boondoggle that we all saw in the withdrawal in just a 100-day period? It's genuinely stunning.
One Tomahawk missile, single missile, 18 to 24 months from the moment of the orders.
That's what I'm trying to say.
2 years.
People who listen, they think I'm exaggerating. If anything, I'm underplaying. You need to go. All of this, this is what they're trying to do. They're actually stopping, like I said earlier, the release of these open source documents on THAAD and on Tomahawk. People accuse me of saying, how would you know the stockpile? I go, luckily, we actually have Congress, which is mandated. You just have to release the report. You don't know the exact number, but based on a general estimate, you can do plus or minus 5 to 10%. We actually do know. A lot of this stuff has been highlighted in the open source environment. So yeah, almost 60 to 80% of the THAADs are gone. Gone. It will take 5 years at a minimum just to replace that. And we continue to fire today. The actual cost, one actual cost estimate of the first 60 days of the war was $82 billion. That was 40 days ago. It's like when you start to put all this stuff together, it's nuts. There's no accountability in our government. And just continue this here, we have Mike Waltz getting grilled by Ted Lieu, who is also trying to underplay the amount of people who've now been killed in the Iran war. Let's take a listen.
How many American troops have been killed in the Iran war?
In these ongoing operations, 18.
Now, President Trump has repeatedly stated that Iran's military was obliterated. On March 16th, President Trump stated that Iran's military was, quote, literally obliterated, end quote. How is it possible that 482 American troops have been wounded and 18 service members killed by an Iranian military that's been purportedly obliterated?
The Iranian Navy, Air Force, air defense system, and industrial capacity have been massively damaged, if not completely ineffective. But this is a state that is trying to reconstitute. This is a regime that is obsessed with a nuclear weapon, and it's a regime that still maintains some missile and drone capability that it's firing on all of its neighbors, including our bases. I think that's a pretty common sense evaluation, but if I need to explain it to you further, I can.
you need to explain to American people how an Iranian military that's been purportedly obliterated killed 18 U.S. service members and wounded 480.
As you know, 7 of those service
well,
members
let me finish
died in a plane crash.
So there you go.
Died in a plane crash. so that doesn't count.
They died in a plane crash. First of all, that plane crash, yeah, there's a lot of questions about that one in terms of what they claim. Also, where are those pilots? Anybody seen them?
Hero
the two
pilots?
Just
Weird.
saying. Been a few months.
You know,
Nice.
there was another hot exchange between them where Lou asked him, you know, how many U.S. troops have been wounded in Iran? And Walt's is like, maybe around 100. It's like, no, it's 482. How do you not know that? And I mean, it is utterly disgraceful. And so obviously he's getting caught there in the fact that Trump is constantly making these grandiose pronouncements about how they're obliterated and we won the war and their nuclear program is obliterated and all of these things. Well, if the nuclear program's obliterated, why are we now getting all this propaganda about Pickaxe Mountain? If the nuclear program was obliterated, why did we do this war in the first place? If the Iranian military is obliterated, how are they still able to kill our service members, take out our radars, and wreak destruction across the entire region? So, you know, sometimes Trump's lies do meet with reality in a way that becomes somewhat undeniable.
Yeah, that's very true. Last thing, I just want to flag this for everybody, B6. This would be an insane thing, and it looks like it's going to happen. Trump is now saying that Republicans should add Iran to the Russia sanctions bill. For those of you who don't know, the entire Congress is currently united in honoring Lindsey Graham by putting these massive sanctions on the Russian economy, so-called secondary sanctions. And now they want to add Iran per Trump in the honor of the great Lindsey Graham, who would have wanted this. So what this piece of legislation would do is it would be even more of an economic declaration of war on the Russian economy. You can, support that, not support that. I can tell you it'll certainly will continue to send oil prices higher because that's the way that they're mostly funding their economy. And then also in terms of the Iranian economy, it would also give Trump massive presidential and discretionary power to use the same type of national security authority he originally imposed his original tariffs on. So it's not really just about Russia, and it's not just about Iran. Really what they're doing is passing one of the most neoconservative pieces of legislation ever forward in the name of national security or Ukrainian, democracy or whatever, adding Iran in there. And it would absolutely cripple even more of the black market oil, which is currently on the market. You may say that, that's a good thing, but of course, coming at this current time, it gives Trump more extraordinary powers and would further hurt, actually, and probably drive oil prices even higher. So if that's something that you want, then I guess that's something that you should do. So that was the last thing I just wanted to put on everybody's radar. It's very, very underplayed in Washington because the whole, neocon media supports it. But it's a terrible piece of legislation that they didn't want to pass originally because they knew it would genuinely leave us no negotiating options whenever it came to the Kremlin. And yet, of course, in honor of Lindsey, that's what we all have to do. All right, let's get to the polls. Hey, if you like that video, hit the like button or leave a comment below. It really helps get the show to more people.
And if you'd like to get the full show, ad-free, and in your inbox
Come
every...
together to tease the imagination.
Yo. What up? Bang it, little head. I'm gonna hear the song again. What's going on? What's up, Lefty? What's up, Louie? What's up, Booney? What's up, Tui? Louie, did I say Louie? Yeah. What's up, Cheeky? Cheeky. What's up, unelectable airwaves Z? Booney, Tuki. What up? Sorry I'm late. I don't really have an excuse. I was watching that show From with Maureen. And you know how they do. It's like, it's basically Lost, But every episode is a cliffhanger. You know, it's like Superman on the edge of the cliff every episode. I'm on the second season now. What are y'all up to? What's going on? What's everyone doing? There we go. That looks better. Pickaxe Mountain. Oh, it's a Fortnite mountain? Really? Alright, let's watch Elmer. What are you guys talking about in the Discord? Oh. Yeah. Mono, are you here? Here's that thing from yesterday we were looking for. The Chinese phone, but the best ones are banned in the West?
I didn't order room service.
It's banned? Or is it just a pain in the ass?
I missed that sound.
They're straight up banned?
Personal log. No visible sender. Minimal packaging. You've got to be kidding me.
What happens if you just
Multiple
buy one?
components. Interlocking system.
So, okay.
I
So you
don't
can
remember
buy
it
it,
being
you
so
just can't
small. Good posture.
run the Google operating system?
This is where it gets implausible. Okay. No one is going to believe this.
I don't know, the problem with Legos though is like they're not like they don't look good on the shelf. You know? It's not like you can put it together and then you have like a cool sculpture to hang up, you know? Like you put it all together and it just, you know, it still looks like cheap Happy Meal toys, you know? Yeah, and they're so expensive, yeah. How can I get a Huawei phone in Chicago? Bypassing official retail channels as the brand has no official US presence and is banned from major platforms like eBay and Amazon. This is so ridiculous. So you can just buy it from one of these guys. Network T-Mobile is the only carrier that reliably supports Huawei hardware brands in the US. Verizon is generally incompatible and AT&T may require manual configuration. Lack Google mobile services. You will need to use the app gallery, set the region to Spain, and install Aurora Store for app access. Features like RCS messaging and Google Wallet payments often do not function correctly. Official Huawei US support is limited. Most buyers rely on seller-provided warranties. So maybe you could. I'm gonna say Apple would probably be no good, right? You'd have, or AT&T requires manual configuration. Yeah, I remember them being on AT&T back in the day. 2019 US ban. AT&T requires VoLTE for voice calls Many Huawei devices lack the necessary firmware certification for AT&T's VoLTE, which can result in drop calls, inability to make calls, or fall back to slower 3G networks. Sounds like my phone as it is. Support AT&T's essential LTE bands. They generally lack the specific carrier profiles required for seamless integration. Yeah, so it sounds like it's just a pain in the ass. T-Mobile. You have T-Mobile in Canada? Must rely on third-party retailers. I mean, is it really that much better? Several significant risks. Financial posting. Absence of Google. This is what I was saying though, man. Like, that's the plan, is to, like, bifurcate the various markets and just prevent any kind of fair competition, or any competition at all. Because they don't want to do that. They would have to make less profit, you know?
You are watching and listening to the Electronic Intifada. I am John Elmer. This is the Resistance Report on day 1021 of Israel's genocide in Gaza, day 146 of the U.S.-Israeli war on Iran. We'll start with the maps, but as always, I'm reporting this on the afternoon of Thursday, July the 23rd. Here's the map of everything that we're going to be seeing today. We have two blockades now, blockade of the Strait of Hormuz choke point and the Bab el-Mandeb into the Red Sea choke point by the Yemeni armed forces. You can follow the...
What happens if I get caught trying to illegally immigrate to Canada or to China? And then they try to deport me, and then Trump won't accept me? Do I get to live in the airport?
Red Sea up there into the Suez Canal and into southern Israel.
That would be fun.
We will get to
like in that Tom
Yemen
Hanks movie
after, but let's look at this next map because we're going to start this week in Jordan.
Yeah, like,
and here's a map of this.
Yeah, like, what if I flew to Mongolia and walked across the border, and then present it myself, you know, like they do here? I mean, pretty solid argument for the, you know, threatening, right? Like,
the site of the 17 principal bases that have been battered throughout this, particularly these last 2.5 weeks. The Americans are bragging about 12 straight nights of attacks. The Iranians respond to each and every one of those attacks. And you can see the bases. So Jordan, right underneath the O of Jordan there is Muwaffaq Salti. That is an airbase, key strategic airbase that the United States has been using both as a shield for Israel, but also to project over to Iran for this war. And I started tracking this base before the war even started because we were seeing the buildup on that base. There wasn't enough room on the tarmacs on the aprons for all of the American fighter jets that had been taken to Muwaffaq Salti Air Base. So we're going to start with that today.
What's that squiggly line down there? Is that a river?
And the first video is going to have audio in, and I just want to warn you that the sound is loud. We're going to watch a ballistic missile land at Muwaffaq Salti. So if you have your headphones on, be prepared for what it sounds like inside a U.S. military base when an Iranian missile hits you.
What up, Ragey? He wasn't loud at all.
So that is the chaos after a Friday strike at Muwaffaq Salti. It was one of a number of strikes on that base. The U.S. admitted that 3 people were killed, although they did it in a very odd way, saying 2 people had been killed and 1 person was missing. And that missing person only was identified yesterday, 5 days after the attack. So that gives you a sense of the carnage, I believe. That's the only way you can confuse persons and body parts. The roll call didn't show someone was there, then you know the person that's missing. If somebody's in the infirmary without body parts, then you know. The fact that they didn't know if it was body parts or a person until yesterday is really telling about the chaos of that strike that the Americans are just simply lying about. Although they were pressured after those first deaths, because that's when the American media immediately wakes up and says, like, oh no, soldiers have been killed, so therefore we have to pay attention to casualties. The U.S. has been hiding these casualties throughout the war in a way and lying in a way that I think makes the Israelis even blush with the way that they have been doing it. Although the Pentagon admitted that there's been at least 100 casualties since July 7th, which is when the ceasefire crumbled. Let's take a look at one of those strikes at Muwaffaq Salti. So you see, these are strikes recorded by American soldiers, and this is really the only way we can get this kind of footage. I know a lot of people ask, why can we see on the ground footage? Well, this week we have on the ground footage. This next one has audio in as well.
Whatchamacallit?
So that's taken from outside the wire. You can see they're on the other side of the fence, but watch this one here coming in, and you can tell that it's coming for them because of the trajectory of it. You see how it seems like it came from the bottom. So these are very significant strikes, and the warhead on these weapons is comparable to the warheads that the Israelis and the Americans dropped themselves. The Mark 82, Mark 83, Mark 84, 2,000-pound bomb, 1,000-pound bombs. The warheads on these Iranian missiles are comparable to those, and you can hear that just in the thunder after the strike and the way that fills the area. So this gives you an idea when we're showing these, the launches of these missiles, what it looks like on the receiving end. And we appealed to American soldiers to send us more videos of what it's like on the inside, because obviously the people that are in charge are taking the lives of these soldiers.
What's up, Catnapper?
Not very seriously, and that they are wounded and don't seem to be counting them, doesn't seem to be relevant. So maybe we will get more of these videos from American soldiers sending out what's actually happening, because their government and their military is lying about it. Let's take a look at number 6, because you can see the damage on these bases. We're starting to get this kind of damage report again. This is the SOAR Atlas that I've been telling you about over the last few weeks. Because of the way that the Atlas operates with layers, each map is, they're calling it 3D, because each map is layered and you can add layers to the map. And that has made this censorship that the United States is going for fail, because we're able to use these maps to build out what is different in each satellite image and track it to its location, as you can see here clearly. We're looking this week particularly at the targeting of barracks.
All desert, and then the green line
this
and
week, soldiers' barracks and hangars. And again, these are now what we saw in the early weeks of taking out all the radars, the significant long-range radars.
Well,
this week we're seeing.
Yeah, I think because they already vacated all their bases, right? It would have been too expensive to try to like shoot down these missiles, and it wasn't worth it. So they just fucking did human shields, you know? They're all just like living in the fucking hotels or whatever.
Seeing that as well, but we're also seeing bases being targeted now. Base housing, which you see in the bottom left corner, being targeted. You're seeing the aprons of hangars being targeted, which means you're hitting planes, you're hitting drones. So this is a significant escalation by the Iranians, and it's a part of the degradation of the missile defense array that the Americans and the Israelis have. That's been picked off.
I was talking about Egypt.
Saw a report here, there. I've been reporting on it every week of the taking out of these radars. These radars are significant. They're long-range radars that make massive gaps in the missile defense array, and that is what's going to lead to these strikes hitting more. And the Israelis have.
What is it?
That's been picked off, and you saw a report here, there. I've been reporting on it every week. Of the taking out of these radars. These radars are significant. They're long-range radars that make massive gaps in the...
What the fuck? Okay, there we go.
Missile defense array, and that is what's going to lead to these strikes hitting more often. Right? We can look at the next one, number 7 here. You can see these are the airplane hangars here, and out on the apron. The apron is just the name for the parking area that you see in front of those shelters. We look at
Don't
the
give
next
that
slide,
asshole a jukes box.
Direct hits on those, and you can also see, if you look in the left side of the screen, you can see 2 MQ-9 Reaper drones, and they're generally parked straight, and you can see that anytime you look at the satellite images.
Where are those
so
B2s,
those have been blown
man?
off their squares. They're presumably, for sure, the one on the right is done. What the status of the one on the left is, they're getting these Reaper drones in the air with air defense systems, and they're getting them on the ground. And the number of these destroyed MQ-9 Reaper drones is significant. The Americans are trying to buy back a bunch that they sold to other countries because they're just losing them in
No, specifically you. I don't want to share with you.
battle. Let's take a look at the next.
Everybody
slide
else
here
can
that
have a
could
juice
show
box.
the same thing with a bit of movement, so you can see the erasure.
I mean, those Reaper
of
drones
that
are
hangar. So maybe that hangar is empty.
Yeah, I guess
maybe
about
they're all
helicopter
empty,
size,
and
yeah.
we can do that through this entire show. Maybe all of these bases that are being hit, maybe there's no soldiers on them, but that's just not the case, because all of these bases are protected by air defense crews at the most skeletal posture that they have. Is their air defense crews are still on these bases. They use these shelters for their air assets. So I think you don't need to really use your imagination to imagine what is inside of those and what is being destroyed. Let's take a look at number 11, because this is really the key for this week. This is base housing. This is the barracks that the soldiers are on, and we're looking here at about 36 containerized living units, they call them. They're just basically portables, ATGO trailers that the troops are in. And you can see in the next slide, they're basically about 26 of the 38 are destroyed here. And the other ones, I mean, you'd have to be on the ground, but the ones on the edges look like they're destroyed too. But the ones in the middle are completely destroyed. Were they totally empty, completely empty of soldiers, or are these the 100 casualties that they're talking about?
I don't even like, it's like I can't even argue with you because everything you say is too fucking dumb to even respond to. Like, this was like that guy last night. It was like, you can't even argue with him because it's like you're talking about like, you know, oh, the logistics of fucking Medicare for all or something. And this guy's like, oh, fucking Kyle's dad was a used car salesman. You know, like, you're not even entering the contest. It's like you're not even putting forward ideas to which I can respond. You're just doing your fucking, you know, mean-spirited, just nastiness.
It's still not clear, and the Americans are making it not clear because they're losing the war. And like the Israelis
what is your argument
did in
you're
Gaza,
making?
they believed that if they hid the number of true casualties or release them slowly, release them after the fact, that it would kind of blunt the sharp focus on casualties and whether that means you're winning or losing the war. Let's take a look at 13. This is what the actual housing looks like. This is from the U.S. From a U.S. base in Germany, and they're the exact same trailers, right? ATCO trailers, one by one after another, and in each room there's soldiers' barracks.
Will there be civil rights for the fascists?
That's where they are when they're not on post, on station. So just wanted you to see what it actually looks like. One soldier from Muwaffaq Salti, he spoke to the Washington Post the other day, and he said that he had previously deployed to Muwaffaq Salti, and he said that in early March, during an intense exchange of missile strikes between the U.S. and Iran,
these guys out to dry,
hardened barracks at Camp Arifjan in Kuwait, the U.S. Army facility in Kuwait, broke through the layers of protection, destroying about half of the structure, the soldier said. Similar heavy destruction has occurred at U.S. military facilities across the region, he said. So now we're getting soldiers as the ones who are telling us the story. And his pull quote here is, "We're getting beat up across the board. All of the bases across the Middle East are being hit. The soldiers know it, obviously." You could hear at the end of that first video that I showed you, you could hear the chaos of the soldiers trying to find out who's alive or not on those strikes. So Muwaffaq Salti in Jordan hitting these base housing, a significant escalation by Iran, tactical escalation. These bases are being destroyed, and now the places where the soldiers are being destroyed. And on these bases that are not near cities, the soldiers stay on the base. In the cities, in the more urban areas where their bases, we know, because the U.S. told us, that they moved the soldiers from these kind of containerized housing units on base, off the base, to use human shields in the cities to put them in hotels behind civilians.
I mean, stay on topic,
that they
please.
Wouldn't be targeted behind civilians. So that just gives you a little wrap of Muwaffaq Salti. Let's take a look at the maps again that we're more familiar with from the Strait of Hormuz. Again, the Strait of Hormuz is an issue this week. The numbers are way down through the strait, and there have been a number of statements this week about the danger of traveling through the southern route through the Omani waters, that is the U.S. Route. And the IRGC said, in one example, said a few hours ago, 2 oil tankers deceived by American intelligence agencies attempted to pass through a minefield south of the Strait of Hormuz and exploded, resulting in a large fire. IRGC Navy declares with certainty that the Strait of Hormuz is extremely unsafe due to the crimes of the American child-killing army, and it is completely closed. The strait is completely closed. Until the aggressions of the criminal America cease, it is impossible to export even a single drop of chemical fertilizers, of oil, or of gas from this region. So, and again, the U.S. route on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday of last week, 0 crossings. So Iran has the ability to block the strait. If you want to go through the Iranian route, you can exit through the strait as normal, but the U.S. is prohibiting their allies from doing that. And you can see on this map all of the countries impacted by it. UAE, Qatar, Bahrain, Kuwait's up at the top, Saudi as well, greatly impacted by this. This is where 35% of the world's seaborne oil crosses through the Strait of Hormuz. And when we get a little later into the show, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the Bab el-Mandeb Strait that is also closed, closing both choke points and sending ships around Africa. Let's take a look at number 15. People like these from space photographs. Again, this is another astronaut photograph. It gives you an idea of the concentration of population along the desert, along the coast of the Persian Gulf.
What's that shit down there?
The desert. And you can see the distance for Iran to
what are those
target
clumps
each
of
these
lights?
countries. I say it every week, but
down
it's
by
the
us.
Key element of this war, and it can go on forever because they are short-range attacks. They're highly precise, and when they're executed, attacks executed from a distance this short,
out there.
missile defense is not as capable as it is with longer
like I said,
distances to
I
prepare.
tolerate
Let's take a look at
trolls, but
16.
you have to be
This is the Strait of
interesting. You're
Hormuz
just
from
fucking
a different
dumb.
angle that
Like,
you're
you don't
seeing
even have
here,
anything
that
funny
on
to
the
say.
upper right is the Iranian coast. Again, you can see the mountains. They have every military asset. I talked about that a couple shows
200
ago.
a barrel.
Every military asset from the from the topographical realities of the strait. But you can see how tiny the Strait of Hormuz is, and it's shallow water, as we saw in that previous map. Let's take a look at 17, because this was a psychological operations.
Dude, why don't they try to do some dredging or something?
This is the Marine Expeditionary Unit, the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit, along on board the USS Tripoli, which is an amphibious assault machine, that assault ship that just actually fled from the battle space after this photo was taken. And they docked yesterday in Japan. So the Marine Expeditionary Unit that was going to raid all these islands and was going to go get the nuclear dust, as the president calls it, they are now docked in Japan. But the Iranians wanted the U.S. to know that the Marine Expeditionary Unit ground troops were under surveillance. The IRGC Navy said the movements and equipment of the American terrorist army are under surveillance of naval units of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Americans are getting closer to the 0 hour for operations against CENTCOM naval units in regional waters. Just wait. That was the statement from the IRGC. Let's take a look at the next map, because we're going to go for some missile strikes here.
Where's CENTCOM? Germany, I thought?
These core bases in these core four countries that you're looking at here. And this is the United States security architecture that was established. I mean, it began to be established in the first Gulf War in 1991, but really this is a product of the wars in Afghanistan.
How tiny Bahrain is.
The so-called global war on terror. And these bases have all been
you want a book recommendation?
From the first days of the war. And we know from...
Dude, read the Parenti book.
When we did have satellite
It'll take you like a few hours.
Before the U.S. censored commercial satellite imagery.
Read that and come back. You might be interesting.
Is significant. And these are the targets that you're going to see in these next series of operations. We can go to number 19. This is a launch from just the day before yesterday. These are Khyber Sheikhan medium-range ballistic missiles, Fatah 110, short-range solid fuel ballistic missiles. Like I said, you can always tell the solid fuel by that white, opaque, and lasting exhaust that we see there. And the difference between a solid fuel and a liquid fuel is its readiness. The solid fuel can be launched without being filled. It could be, and there you see a liquid one. You can see the clear difference there in the Goddard there. And then back again to solid fuels. So the solid fuels are easier to store. They're safe to store. They can store them underground. There's a Shahed 136 drone that you can see, again, drone swarms being set up. These are called waves. And like I said on last show, a wave is not equal to a salvo. A wave is a series of operations, sometimes spread out over hours, sometimes coordinated all at once. But the terminology that they're using is waves, but these are not, a wave is not an individual salvo. It is a series of salvos, as you see here with the multiple launch systems that we are watching. And note, we're going to see that this week. In particular, I'll show you on the next one. Let's go to 20, because you can see the same thing. This is, again, solid fuel. And then you're going to see an Imad, which has a heavy warhead, like comparable to a Mark 84
here's the audio book
bomb that dropped on civilians in Gaza every day for the last 1,021 days.
Audiobook.
So you can see the both the stores, the stockpiles, the readiness, all of that, all those numbers that we were told, they're all a lie. They're all not true. And we're seeing now that these weapons can be deployed from all over. These can be deployed by road mobile trucks. They can be truck launched. But you see how they're blurring. They've started to blur the launch method of all of these, so we can't tell if they're silos or if they're truck launched, and that's interesting. See there, you see a liquid fuel again. It's very clear the difference between the two, and liquid fuel is problematic. You have to fill it up. You have to take crews have to go out and fill it up on the launch pad, which takes time. It's dangerous, and you can't store them. You can't store them underground with liquid fuel. because they corrode and they can explode. So solid fuel is battle ready, and that is what we're seeing in these rounds, presumably many fired from silos that were dug out during the period of pause. Let's take a look at the next slide. Is just one of those Fatah 110s to show you. And there's a series of this rocket, this missile, the Zulfikar, at the Fatah 110 and the Fatah 313 is shorter range that they use on shorter range operations.
I'm on the side of the devil.
Let's take a look at number 22.
I'm
this
on the
week,
side of the devil.
The Americans were trying to tell the Washington Post that of 8,500 drones and missiles that have been fired at the region, an American source who obviously wouldn't put his name on record.
Who's inventing reality?
He said that 8,400 out of 8,500 missiles have been detected. I mean, there's a little wiggle room in the language that they use, but to claim a 98.8 interception rate on maneuverable re-entry vehicle missiles is absurd. Even the Israelis were talking 65% on those missiles, even by their most advanced.
Dude, Pete Exit is such a fucking scumbag, man.
The Americans are just telling outrageous lies.
Such a scumbag.
Nobody, they think nobody understands what they're talking about. So, let's take a look at 23. Are we at 23? Yeah, there's some Shahed 136 drone launches. You can see they're rocket boosted, so they're fired off a simple rail, as you see there. Very easy to set up, takes 2 minutes. It's got a rocket booster that fires it up to speed. You can see that once it gets, once the rocket booster is expended, it's dropped to get rid of its excess weight. And for the long-term flights, I mean, these drones can target Israel. They have 2,000 kilometer plus range, depending on how they're structured.
It's in my crank shit folder.
They're highly precise. They are satellite tracked and they're very precise. We can see in the next slide that the Iranians are using now these matte black ones that are newer models. So we're seeing newer models, and that was something the Iranians said. They were firing their old stuff in the early part of the war. These Shahed 136s, the black matte is
part one.
Better for night flight, and it indicates a more recent batch that is being manufactured. Again, lie that the Americans destroyed the manufacturing base.
Part one.
It's a lie. Let's look at 25. A couple more launches here.
Part two.
Targeting Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar, and Jordan with these ballistic missiles. These were waves 17 through 20 that happened this week. They are now up to wave 26, so multiple in a day, and many dozens in a single. You're going to see here half a dozen just launched simultaneously there of the Fatah 110s, and the Fatah 110s carry a heavy warhead as well for their size. There you see a good shot of it going into space. Let's take a look at 27. Oh, that's the missile. I just wanted to give you guys a good shot of what it looked like because it's always flying. But there's a good Fatah 110 shot as well. Could be a Khyber Sheikhan. Tough to tell with the size, but same type, same family of missiles. There's four different sizes of them. Let's take a look at 27. This is the Arash-2 drone. This is the army, the Iranian army, Artesh. This is their primary weapon. You can see it's also rocket boosted. It's going to drop that rocket booster.
Artesh has those cool fucking plane things.
The Arash-2 has a 2,000 kilometer range and also a heavy warhead, 150 kilo warhead. And these were designed for long range attacks, i.e.
I don't think they're
designed to strike Israel. They can easily
I don't think they're as precise,
all of the countries that are far closer than Israel, and we'll see that in this next series. I stuck together the week's worth of Artesh drone operations, and these are them launching all throughout the week. They're up to now 25 stages. They're calling them stages for the army. And they're a little bit smaller than a wave. The IRGC wave is much larger.
That Parenti book will take you a couple hours,
but it gives you a sense of how both the militaries are operating together. And in their field reports on these, they're very specific about what's being targeted. Camp Arifjan in Kuwait. A parking area for helicopters was targeted. A building housing forces in the U.S. terrorist army at Ali al-Jaber base in Kuwait was hit with attack drones. And then they describe what they are. The Arifjan base is one of the largest centers of deployment of the U.S. forces and headquarters of the U.S. ground force in Southwest Asia. The base is where the U.S. Navy and Air Force helicopters, including attack helicopters, are hosted. And the Americans said that they lost multiple attack helicopters. Well, they said to sources said, nobody will go on record telling the truth, that a bunch of their attack helicopters were destroyed on the ground this week. Let's take a look at 29. This is an anti-ship cruise missile fired by the Army. Can't get a good sight of it because they want the operational security about the launch method and the missile itself that's being used. But we know they have a strong supply of anti-ship cruise missiles. These are being fired at the U.S. Navy. This was in the 13th stage. The Army fired coast-to-sea cruise missiles targeting an enemy aggressor vessel in the northern Indian Ocean. So we're seeing the ships of the U.S. being fired at. That's something that Trump confirmed too. He said they're being fired at hundreds of times, but you never know where he gets his numbers. Let's take a look at number 30, downing drones. Something that we do here on the show every week.
Stalin book.
30 plus million MQ-9 Reaper drone, and there it is on the ground. In case some people say that the reticle, watching the reticle and watching the drone explode isn't real. They showed you on the ground that they're all very real. Now let's take a look at some battle damage assessments.
It's such an Israeli thing to say.
Match exactly with the targeting that the Iranians say what they're targeting, and then we see it sure enough within a day or two on satellite images. Let's take a look at 31. This is the Al Udeid Air Base. This is the main air base for CENTCOM's forward headquarters positions, and you can see significant warehouse there just destroyed, and maybe it was empty. That's what they want you to believe. This is also the home of the Combined Air Operations Center, which was rendered inoperable.
Look at that, man.
That's
Fucked
their command
up,
center
bro.
for the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
They got
Syria.
your shit good, bro.
It was rendered inoperable by strikes
my God.
in March.
Was that where you store your hair gel?
Let's look at 32 is in
I
the
hope it wasn't.
desert. This is Tower 22. Again, we're circling base housing there. You can see 8 base housing units there. This is Tower 22, right at the border of Jordan, Syria, and
nowhere
Iraq,
safe for you
in the desert. So the troops here didn't leave this base and go and stay in high-rise hotels. Or maybe they did, but there's still people on this base. Maybe they went to Amman to run away. There's a lot of troops that have fled the region and are fleeing the region still this week. So this is Tower 22. Let's take a look at the next two. You can see here the base housing again. And then if we look at the next slide, we can see the complete elimination of one of those. And there's various other satellite images. Again, we could do a whole show on satellite images. If we had 2 hours, we could do that. But I just picked some of the most clear-cut ones, but there's literally a dozen more that I could have brought on this show.
I mean, everybody with a half a brain saw this, right? Like, this was obvious. Obviously, this was going to happen.
U.S. base in northern Iraq, in Kurdish held territory in northern Iraq, and those Patriot launchers are the launchers I broke down last week that fire $4 million each interceptors. And you can see there that has been targeted and destroyed. If we look at 36, this is the same base battling drones. This is a counter rockets, artillery, and mortars unit, a CRAM unit, firing essentially heavy guns to try to stop the drones from coming in. The drones are targeting them. Those are Army drones
firing machine guns.
I showed you be launched, and also the Shahed 136s by the IRGC.
That's all they got.
Take a look at the next one. This is a base
getting the troops used to being unhoused for when they get home.
City, sweeping multifunctional army complex designed for ground forces, characterized by vast rows of ground force warehouses, troops, barracks, training ranges, and administrative command facilities, according to them. You can see 3 major installations, the 3 largest on the base. If we go to the next slide, you can see that they have been removed, and we'll get better and better satellite imagery of this in the coming days. You already stuff that I covered last week. There's more satellite imagery of it this week that's even more clear. So as the weeks go on, it just gets better and better. The optics of the battle damage assessments that are clearly successful. And there was, like I said, many other that I could have shown, a dozen others that I could have shown. But those give you good examples of the state of the war between
and they just
the
like
US
don't even say anything
Iran.
about it.
I'm going to go to Yemen here briefly for a moment, because Yemen has this week
98% shoot down rate,
an eye for an eye, a blockade for a blockade against the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, who attacked the Sana'a airport, the capital of Yemen, when an Iranian delegation was arriving. They bombed the runways.
Oh my God.
Tens of millions of dollars launching long-range aerial launched cruise missiles, because they were too scared of Yemeni air defenses to actually fly over. But right away, that was 2 weeks ago, right away, the Yemenis said that they were going to respond, and they have. Let's take a look at the maps here just to show what we're talking about. Again, we've been focused on the Strait of Hormuz for the past while, but going back to our October 2023 roots of the resistance report, the Yemenis joined Al-Aqsa flood virtually immediately and blockaded the Red Sea. And so the port in Eilat that you can see up there on the top right, if you follow the Red Sea up to the top past Saudi Arabia, if you hang a right on that one
Suez
port, you
Canal.
end up at Eilat, which was a major Israeli port that is completely bankrupt now and basically non-existent. And if you go up to the left, you go up to the Suez Canal, which is problems for very large crude carriers. They cannot go through the shallow channel. There's also payments through the Suez Canal that have to be paid, interestingly, because there's a big fuss over the Strait of Hormuz tolls, but the tolls that Egypt charges are seen as legitimate tolls. So let's take a look at the next map, because the Bab el-Mandeb, you can see it from a couple different angles here. So this was ships coming in yesterday. The Washington Post reported that a large cargo ship bound for Saudi Arabia was turned back Tuesday by Yemeni rebels, one of 7 vessels that have been reversed course. And as of reporting this today on Thursday, there's now up to 11 ships that have been turned back, according to analysis by maritime firm Lloyd's List. And Lloyd's List is an underwriter, their insurance company, that track this closely, because this sends insurance rates for the ships so prohibitively high that the route around Africa becomes the normalized. And again, the World Bank indicated a global recession will come out of this if this continues. They said this is the largest oil shock ever recorded.
What am I looking at here?
In the history of oil. And
is this a weird
the
angle?
blockade of the Red Sea shuts down the Yanbu port that Saudi has a pipeline that goes to Yanbu in the Red Sea and offloads several million barrels of oil. Some say up to 7. Seems like around 4 is more the realistic flow rate. So another 4 million barrels off the market. Because of this blockade of the Bab el-Mandeb. Let's take a look at the next slide.
There's no way out,
man.
See
here,
no
just
way
wanted
out.
To show you what it looks like from space, because you can see the Bab el-Mandeb is easy for the Yemeni armed forces.
What's this little thing over here
secure.
about Djibouti?
It's just like it shares many of the same characteristics of the Strait of Hormuz. It's tiny. It's right along Yemeni waters. It's on a coast. Yemen has coastal areas that have high ground firing
Is that the
positions
Nile River?
all up the coast of the Red Sea, throughout that southern Red Sea area. And so it's very difficult for ships to make
That's
it
the
through.
Nile River Delta.
This is a photo. Also, these photos are taken by digital SLRs, so these are not.
I did the first
trick
episode.
Photos. These are actually just cameras being snapped by astronauts.
I felt it working.
A really great,
like right away.
View.
Like as soon as I got synced up, I was in the zone, man.
Closing this choke point looks like. Let's take a look at the last one here. You can see how the strait looks.
It was
from
intense,
Djibouti,
though.
looking
It was
looking
intense.
east. That is Yemen under the cloud there that you're seeing, and that is the Bab el-Mandeb Strait that's right in front of that cloud. It's a tiny waterway.
Oh my God, the Canada
is
thing
easy
is
to close.
insane.
And the Yemeni said that the first principle was the Yemeni armed forces announced a maritime ban on the Saudi enemy based on the principle of siege for siege, which will take effect from the moment this statement is announced. And indeed, that is what happened. And just before we go, I want to just touch on Gaza and Palestine in general. Hamas elected Halil al-Hayya this week. He was elected through the structure of the Hamas movement to the chief of the Politburo, of their political bureau, and the election took place in 4 places, as always, under the Hamas structure. It took place in the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, in prison, and in exile. Those are the 4 main tent poles for the movement. And so Halil al-Hayya is not a surprise to anybody close following this. He was close to the Sinwar. He was sent abroad in 2022 to do the diplomatic work, to do the to effectively become the lead diplomat for Hamas, and he was the lead negotiator. Israel tried to kill him in Qatar. They killed his son. That made it 4 sons of his that have been killed by the Israelis, and many other family members in massacres trying to kill him.
I was listening to some guy talking about that today.
He's one of the founding members of Hamas.
The DMT thing?
He's also a graduate of the Islamic University of Gaza. First Intifada.
Maybe. I don't know.
He has that whole trajectory.
I'm not explicitly opposed
of
to
the building
it,
of the Hamas movement into what it
that
was.
guy seemed kind of goofy
today. It is under a lot of pressure, but the movement is able to hold elections in those 4 key constituencies: Gaza, the West Bank, prison, and exile, and come up with a new leadership. And Halil al-Hayya said that the first thing he said upon elected in his speech, he saluted the countries that, of course, that supported Palestine, like the resistance always does. He saluted the distinguished position of supporting, backing, and defending Palestinian rights. And we specifically mentioned the brothers in Yemen, in Lebanon, in Iraq, and Iran, who participated with and supported us with their blood and with their weapons. We are confident that the path of our people's resistance, which we are honored to belong to, is guaranteed victory no matter how long or short the time. We are proceeding on that pledge, keeping before our eyes the service of our great people and the preservation of its rights and sacrifices. The storms of injustice will not defeat us, and we will not bargain over the soil of our blessed Palestine. So that is the statement from Halil al-Hayya, signaling a continuity within the Hamas political movement. And of course, his close ties to Sinwar gives him a strong base within the Qassam brigades as well, which is the true center of gravity of the Hamas movement. So this has been the Resistance Report on day 1021 of Israel's genocide.
You're watching and listening to the Electronic Intifada live stream. I'm Ali Abonema here with Nora Barros-Friedman and John Elmer. And yes, a lot of people have been following the video that Zohran Mamdani, the mayor of New York City, put out. Of course, he ran on the promise of arresting Benjamin Netanyahu, who is wanted by the ICC.
Watch that Johnny Harris video?
And he put out this video just the other day. I think we should watch it and then we'll react to it and share some thoughts. Let's play it.
Here. Let's watch Professor Morandi instead. Well, whatever.
Netanyahu is a war criminal.
Fine.
The architect of a horrific genocide against the
Palestinian
people.
Fine.
He is responsible for the killing of more than 73,000 people.
I know, but is it
the maiming of tens of thousands of children,
just like
as those who survive undergo amputation without anesthesia, for the targeting
is
of
it fair and
hospitals,
balanced?
maternity care centers, denying newborns even the chance to live, for the countless people he starved as he blocked food and humanitarian aid from reaching them, for the gunning down of hundreds of aid workers and journalists. And just last month, the UN confirmed that Palestinian children continue to be deliberately targeted and killed by Israeli armed forces, more than 8 months after the so-called ceasefire. The list goes on and on, all as we, as Americans, pay for the bombs that do the killing. There is a reason the International Criminal Court issued a warrant for his arrest. As human beings, we have spent generations building a shared understanding that there are crimes so grave, they offend all of humanity. Anyone, with their eyes, with their heart, with their conscience, should recognize the devastation he has wrought and understand that he belongs before a court of law. As I've said, I agree with the ICC that Benjamin Netanyahu should be arrested and tried for his crimes, as I do for anyone else charged by the ICC. My administration has reviewed every avenue available under applicable law to determine whether New York City could execute the International Criminal Court's arrest warrant if Benjamin Netanyahu came here. It is clear that we do not have the independent legal authority to enforce this warrant. The federal government, however, does, and I call on them to join the ICC and execute this warrant. And I want to be equally clear. Benjamin Netanyahu is not welcome in New York City, nor is any other war criminal at large. While we cannot end the genocide on our own, we can decide whether our silence will become another weapon, and we can examine every tool we have to defend the humanity and dignity of all people. That is my commitment.
I mean, I feel like Trump would fucking send in the feds, you know, some sort of armed
General
raid.
thoughts, Ali.
Trump would love that shit.
I think it's extraordinary for a senior elected politician, not senior, he's the mayor of New York City.
I think Trump would literally send in
role,
troops.
But highly prominent, highly visible public official to make such a statement.
Team of three, I would do it. You want to do it?
Netanyahu is the architect of a genocide, is a war criminal, and he should be arrested. And I think it sets the standard for politicians, not just around the United States, but around the world. And I'll say some more about that a little bit later. But what puzzles me is that there's been a lot of vociferous, I don't know if it's, I think it's a minority, but still vociferous criticism. And of course, I've criticized Zohran Mamdani for many things, and I will continue to do so. And it's a well-worn list that he kept on the ultra-Zionist NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch, that he has appeared to lend his aura to war criminals like Barack Obama, totally unnecessary and unhelpful, that he's accepted calls from Kamala Harris. He's, of course, a member of the Democratic Party, and he should be criticized for all of those things. But people want me to be mad at this statement. I'm not. I think this is a great statement, and it sets a standard. That's how I feel about it. And of course, I don't think it was ever very realistic that he could arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. I think.
Did you see Mike from PA got mad about that second thought video?
I think he probably did ask.
I was mad about it too. I told you I was mad about it.
There was a legal way to do it, and they probably told him there wasn't. But even if there was a legal way, what are people expecting? Are they expecting the NYPD to engage in a shootout with the U.S. Secret Service and the FBI and the Israeli security who be protecting Netanyahu?
Yeah, dude, no chance.
It's just very strange that this is what people have chosen to be upset about.
Oh my god, dude, he would have his Mossad commandos execute the fucking,
I mean, he and
the anti-Hannibal doctrine.
This is a federal issue.
It's the inverse of the Hannibal doctrine.
The federal police should arrest Israel's Prime Minister,
which he said
Benjamin
that the
Netanyahu,
federal government should arrest Netanyahu.
Or they should deputize the NYPD.
He is a war crimes fugitive.
What if they kept Jessica Tisch on just for this moment? You know,
and
she's an ultra-Zionist and she did it.
You know, these legal authorities to do the right thing. And I think what Mamdani said, I agree. It sets the standard. I think that this is now the bar that other mayors, congresspeople, senators should aspire to. I mean, that statement went viral. It said things that we've all been saying. It is not the be-all, end-all of political, aspirations, but it is a standard that should now be met and elevated to actual material action, to drag these war crimes fugitives into The Hague. And I know that the U.S. is now trying to pull out of the ICC and trying to denigrate the jurisdiction of international legal bodies. But it's still here. We should still be able to use it to prosecute these genocidal maniacs who are fugitives from international law.
Oh, let's go.
It's just kind of statement that is so basic.
Oh my God.
I think a lot of people were just like, why
don't even know what just happened
in
90-second minute
2023? From speaking to you from Canada, from a country that doesn't really have anything at stake in this, war. It was just amazing that no politician, not one, could make this points of fact that he made. Just the basic points of fact. Just like, to say that you've been watching what we all are watching, that you're part of the same world that we're all a part of. And it just never happened. And it was just all one of the things that was really one of the many things that was shocking about this genocide is that
not a one,
just the most basic, like the ICC thing, trying to arrest Netanyahu, that is one thing, but even just the plain speaking from institutions, from elected officials, the absence of that, I think, is what really shows in that video when you see
it. Is it Petro, maybe?
Like, hey, we've never. First of all, those are all basic points, right, about the genocide.
Petro's based.
That we just have never seen that before. Is just a damning indictment.
He called for a military, he wanted to raise an international army.
Is that nobody in these positions
conquer Israel
acted like they cared, even if they were faking it. They didn't believe that was necessary.
And the effect it's had is extraordinary. When I looked earlier this morning, just on Twitter X, that video had 83 million views. It had 2.4 million views on YouTube, 1.3 million likes on Twitter. And that's just the original copies on the official accounts. It's, of course, been copied and posted probably millions more times and broadcast around the world. And the impact of that just cannot be underestimated and should not be dismissed, even if you are critical, as I am and have been, of Zohran Mamdani for many other things. I think it's just so dismissive of the efforts that people have been making at the grassroots for years to push politicians and push the political system to, as John said, just acknowledge these basic realities, and the fact that now the mayor of New York City, traditionally a position where you have had the most fanatically pro-Israel politicians in the world occupy that post, to be able to say these things is not a small thing, and it is significant to Palestinians. Even Palestinians who are critical of Mamdani, including Palestinian activists in New York, who have rightly pushed him and constantly push him. It is significant. And if people want to denigrate that achievement, they also denigrate the work people have been doing at the grassroots to change the discourse and change the public standards. And I just want to, again, keeping in mind what Nora, what you and John said, compare and contrast, okay? Just keep in mind Mamdani calling Netanyahu a war criminal, the architect of the genocide, and calling on the United States government to arrest him. Well, let's take a look at the new British government, the new Prime Minister Andy Burnham. Let's look at this, Tamara, this article from The Guardian. Many people have seen this report. Andy Burnham apologizes for Labour's stance on Gaza and says it didn't get it right. In other words, that the Labour
shooting
Party,
and crying.
Yeah, the Labour Party wasn't harsh enough on Israel.
didn't get
What
it
does
right.
the Guardian report? It says the Prime Minister in waiting, now Prime Minister, because this was a few days ago, the Prime Minister in waiting told the Guardian he would put more pressure on the Israeli government,
I mean, this
including
Israeli
through further
thing is
sanctions
really
on individuals and entities,
new
as well
extreme.
as a potential ban on the trade of goods with illegal settlements. The most minimal, insignificant measures that should have been done decades ago still haven't been done, and which don't actually address the genocide. Because yes, there should be a ban on settlement goods, but what does that have to do with the genocide in Gaza?
I know, right?
And then they have this quote
having
from Andy
access
Burnham.
to all
He
those
says,
like
I know
JSTOR
many
and stuff.
people feel that at
all
the
those
start of Israel's military
medical
action in
databases
Gaza,
and stuff.
it is July 2026, and he's saying Israel's military action in Gaza, not genocide, not war crimes. So at the start of
What's this
Israel's
nexus?
military action in Gaza, my party didn't get it right, and I'm sorry about that. The response has too often not been good enough. We need to do better. Just pablum with no specifics.
What does that mean?
Where is
Yeah,
Andy
what the fuck does that
Burnham's
even
call
mean, Burnham?
on
are you
someone who
kidding me?
actually has the power to arrest Netanyahu if he were to set foot in the UK or to pass through British airspace? Andy
Really?
Burnham has the power right now to order the Royal Air Force to stop aiding and abetting the genocide with surveillance flights and intelligence and so on, and they're not even doing that. And then let's look at the statement.
He
from
means we
Ed
got it wrong
Miliband,
because we
the new
didn't love
British
Israel
Foreign
enough.
Secretary,
We
who
didn't
says,
support them enough.
He put up this statement when he was appointed. It is a great honor and privilege to have been appointed by the Prime Minister to serve as Foreign Secretary. My parents came to Britain as Jewish refugees from the Nazis. Then he says, from Russia's illegal war in Ukraine to conflict in the Middle East, time and
Conflict
again
in
we've
the
seen
Middle East.
consequences of a more dangerous world. So he characterizes Russia's invasion of Ukraine as illegal, but in the Middle East it's just a conflict. No genocide there, no war crimes, no crimes against humanity. And then further down in his statement, he says, his job will also mean working tirelessly. You remember working tirelessly? Kamala Harris and AOC working tirelessly for a
Working
ceasefire.
tirelessly.
So Ed Miliband tells us that he'll be working tirelessly to seek a sustainable peace in Palestine and Israel, including an end to the terrible suffering
Have a look
of
in
the people of
2030.
Gaza and security for the people of Israel. So no mention of genocide, no mention of why people in Gaza are suffering or who is causing their suffering. And then he pledges security to the perpetrators of the genocide. So this is what the newly improved British government, which is contrite about Gaza, is saying. And people want me to be mad about what Zohran Mamdani said.
Right.
Doesn't compute in my mind.
No, that is full on depravity. Shameless depravity. Just absolute.
But keep pushing Zohran Mamdani. That's what I've said from the beginning. I'll keep saying it. Politicians are not our friends.
Who wants him to be mad
They
at
are
Zoran?
there to represent people. They are there to represent what's right. And it's okay to say, this is a good thing, he said. This is an incredibly strong statement that sets a standard.
like 4
not just for other
bloggers?
American politicians, but for Andy Burnham, for every European government, for every government around the world. This should be the minimum. And our demand
he definitely
should not
has
be,
a fucking
why
commando
isn't Zohran
unit
Mamdani
following
having
him
a
everywhere.
shootout with the Secret Service to try to capture Benjamin Netanyahu? It should be, why are the governments who actually have the power to stop the genocide, to stop the weapons, to stop the trade, the greedy trade that fuels Israel's murderous machine, why are they doing nothing? Why are they doing nothing? Put your anger where it deserves to be.
Yeah,
Come on.
No kidding. John, anything you want to say about Mark Carney in these recent days?
No, but I agree in general that this is a baseline that should be followed by institutions,
Elmer.
politicians. This should be the low
Elmer's
bar
got takes.
to entry into this, is that you can't, no matter where you are on the political spectrum, that you can't observe what's happened in Gaza for the last 3 years and say that this is a world that we all want to share, that this is an ideology that we are going to support rampage across the Middle East. Like it just seems like such a low bar. And
it's such a low bar that when a lawmaker, head of a city, just says facts, it's a relief. It's a relief. And yeah, I mean, it should be the standard. This should just be basic. The bar is so basic.
To be a human,
yes. Yeah, exactly. To recognize what's actually happening in Palestine, and to call it out.
Am I zoomed in? Is that the problem? Oh. Yeah, did you see this shit?
With that, Zoe, I wanted to address.
Yo, if you have any money, dude, they raised over 1,000. Never mind, I thought that was $1 million. Dude, donate to Breakthrough, yo.
The Trump administration's war on the left. So I want to say something very directly to everybody watching, because
I guess what's his name will bail them out.
Is now part of the story we've been covering.
Yeah, it is really no longer abstract for us.
No, it's not, because Breakthrough News, as many of you may have seen, has been subpoenaed by the Republican-run House Ways and Means Committee. They didn't send us a letter. They didn't send us like a polite request. They sent us a subpoena.
Yeah, they're going to send Eugene to Guantanamo.
Our internal communications, our financial records, and a lot more, which is just wild.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's important for us to be clear of what we're actually accused of, which is nothing. There's no crime, and we have not been charged with anything.
Yeah, that's certainly
charged
true.
With
We haven't
being
been
a
charged with
babe.
anything because there is no crime, right? We are a nonprofit newsroom, and as a nonprofit newsroom, we
Carney's
already
being
comply
further
with
right
every
than
tax
Trudeau,
rule,
huh?
with every audit,
Bizarre.
every public reporting.
I guess he wants to be like Trump.
We have already complied with. We haven't also taken a dime from any foreign government, as these people are trying to insinuate.
So, yeah, I guess the question is, what is the actual offense? Like, what did we even do?
Yeah, I mean, the body double, yeah.
That's a really good question, Zoe. What did we do? Because from my vantage point,
Who's
what
Phoenix
we did
Wright?
wrong in the eyes of these people who have subpoenaed us is we've covered the Palestine Solidarity Movement with staunch opposition to the genocide in Gaza. We have showed people what ICE is actually doing in the streets of America, which is something that these people are very upset about. We've reported on Washington's crimes around the world, from Cuba to the Congo to Iran to here in Lebanon, where I'm speaking to you from. That's it. That's what we've done. That's the whole indictment. That's our big crime, which actually is not a crime, Zoe.
Right. I mean, it is literally journalism. That is literally just us doing our jobs and doing journalism. I don't really know what else to call it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the journalism, the kind of journalism that these people would like to shut down. And that's the strategy here. I mean, they know that our budget at Breakthrough News is like literally microscopic compared to the billionaire-funded networks that literally run the airwaves. Like, they don't even need to win here or prove we did anything wrong. I think this is really just about trying to bury us in legal proceedings until we basically like run out of money or just stop reporting out of intimidation, which is also a part of the tactic.
Yeah, I mean, and that's what people kind of need to understand, is that this is a playbook that they deploy. And again, they target us because of what we've been covering, but also because we're small.
Best
and it really
lawyer in the
sends
world.
a message
An anime attorney.
to every independent media outlet that this could be you next if you don't fall in line, which is basically shut up and don't do your job.
No, that's exactly right. It sends a message. Like, this is, I think people really need to recognize this is not just an attack on little old breakthrough news. Like, this is an attack on all independent media and literally freedom of the press itself. And it's ironic, Zoe, because it's coming from the same politicians who ran on, defending free speech, mostly from like the woke left. But right now, actually what they're doing is they're attacking speech that they don't like.
Yeah, and I think probably our viewers are wondering, what can people do to help, to join us in this, and as we are facing really an unprecedented attack?
Well, first of all, I want to say there's been an outpouring of support from people who are outraged, as they should be, by this very unconstitutional attack on journalism. But there are two very concrete things that you can do right now. If you are outraged about this, and if you do support Breakthrough News and support independent media, first, go sign the petition. You can find it at our website, breakthroughnews.org. And this petition is telling the Ways and Means Committee to stop muzzling the press and to drop this investigation, this witch hunt against Breakthrough News. And the second very concrete thing that you can do is you can donate. We've retained legal counsel, and we are absolutely going to fight this, but fighting costs money, and our funding comes from viewers, not from billionaires, and certainly not from foreign states. It comes from you. So go to breakthroughnews.org.
What about that one guy?
Sign the petition, and
You know the guy. You know the guy I'm talking about.
And donate
What
so
about
you
that
can
guy?
help us push back again against this attack on independent media and on press freedom.
And people should know, all of those friends and foes who are watching, we are not going to be quiet. We're not going to stop doing the journalism that we've been doing, that has defined us, that has grown us this audience that we have today, because we know that's the journalism that's needed. We know that.
Dude, is Mike from PA really mad about that?
Having the DSA sticker of endorsement doesn't give him a free pass.
You can still believe that social democracy is insufficient. I believe social democracy is insufficient. But the reason why I'm supporting these people is because it is a strategy of recruitment and normalization of socialism.
You might have also seen that we're taxing the
that's
rich
correct.
now.
And focusing it on what? Land value speculation. It's just so good. It's like the perfect tax.
Instead of clip farming anti-Republican zingers, writing strongly worded letters, and going back to the nursing home.
God, that's bars!
But things
Dude,
like
he
this
seems
hint
mad.
at a bigger problem.
Okay, so what's the bigger problem? I'm excited.
I'll even say that the way Zoran has worked with the establishment has been strategic and efficient.
Almost like he's good at this. Instead of trying to nitpick him and
I
drive
don't
down
wanna
his
watch
approval
this.
among our
I
own
just wanted
base,
to know
we
what he
should look
thought.
to see how we can enhance his power. Oh my God.
I thought the same
I've
thing as Mike, though,
dreamed
for the
about
record.
lists like this. Ah! All right,
I don't
we
know what
haven't
that
watched
list
a second
is,
thought
but-
video in a while.
Yeah, it was just like fucking him trying to like respond to like Twitter critiques and not actually trying to like give any kind of reasonable assessment. But people who are like anti-DSA, like they try to spin everything that happens in some anti-DSA way. It's really annoying. Like, oh, look at these fucking DSA guys not fucking, arresting Netanyahu. I'm not. I don't want to watch his video. I just want to know what his opinion was. What? Why? I'm curious why you would say that. I mean, for the record, I agree with him 100%. I thought the exact same thing. I'm glad he made this video. I don't want to watch it, but I'm glad he made the video. What? Yeah, I'm only watching him. I mean, I've never watched him.
Okay, in 2015, Jeffrey Epstein partnered with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to invest in a security tech startup called Reporting Homeland Security, now known as Carbon. Yes, Jeffrey Epstein and Israel is a part of this story, as they usually are. Okay, so if you guys remember, at the end of my mini doc about flock surveillance cameras, I was telling you guys about a hunch that I had that something more could be going on. Specifically, I was asking if all of the viral anti-flock content that is blowing up on the internet right now could have been potentially astroturfed to facilitate the build-out of an even bigger
I don't think we should judge him by simp.
State. Well, let me tell you guys, I
feel like that's what I've been doing. I don't know. I'd say I see his tweets. I agree with him maybe 75% of the time, maybe more. It's usually pretty good.
I think I was onto something because boy, do I now have a few receipts.
This personality
First off,
I don't really
quick recap. Flock Safety is this company that makes automated license plate readers, ALPRs as they're called, which are these AI-powered cameras that capture and analyze images of passing vehicles, and they store these details like your car's location, date, time, many other things. And over the past 8 years, they've installed over 110,000 of these cameras across America. Most likely, you will find them in your neighborhood. And some are even alleging that these cameras, which they say only tracks cars, is also capable of facial recognition, and all of this data that's being collected is going into a massive national dragnet database. This is something that nobody voted for. Nobody's asking for these things to be installed, so I believe the backlash is real. Let me be clear. Flock is in serious trouble after massive backlash. The reporting is that at least 53 cities have ended their contracts with the company so far, according to a July 22nd article.
I think his thing, right, is that, like, we should get fucking people like Zoran. We should get, like, prominent, like, DSA people in there to do a good job and, like, vindicate socialism. You know, we've had decades and decades of, like, McCarthyite Red Scare propaganda. It's encouraging that people are like, well, first of all, a lot of, more and more young people didn't grow up under the Cold War. But then, like, I assume we're making inroads with the Cold War people, but honestly, it might just be, post-Cold War people. Yeah. I mean, obviously the anti-communist sentiment is, like, built into everything, But also, like, I don't... They seem to have done a number on our parents, and, like, maybe not our parents, but our grandparents, Angry Mike. I mean, yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, you don't necessarily, like, grab your phone when you wake up and put on Twitch. Like I said, he's alright.
Article from Futurism. But the part I'm suspicious about is this hyper focus on one company when there are many others that make exactly the same kind of product. Check this out.
I'm also excited to announce that we are working with another industry leader, Ubiquia.
All government
to turn
documents?
streetlights into smart ALPR and live streaming cameras. Without having to add a single pole in the ground, this partnership accelerates deployments and turns existing infrastructure into intelligent, interconnected tools for public safety.
That's what they always say. They always tell us that it is for our safety,
no, it's not.
Public safety, and unfortunately, most of us fall for it every single time. That was, by the way, the CEO of Axon Enterprise.
Yeah, that's it. That's what happens,
and
right?
Axon is this multi-billion-dollar
You can
company.
convince them, right? You can convince them of all these issues in the moment, and then it's like it just snaps out. Like they wake up the next morning and it's all gone or something. Yeah, the exact same thing. I know exactly what you're talking about.
company that makes things like police body cams, tasers, drones, in-car cameras, and also AI-powered cloud software for law enforcement, military, and enterprise
Yeah, I usually
security.
don't do that
and
with my
recently, in
yards.
2025,
They
they announced
know.
that they are going to be expanding into what they call new fixed ALPR camera solutions and next-gen AI advancements, basically the same exact technology.
But
and
it's
products
really
that Flock
easy
makes.
to just
Now, this
ensconce
is where the
yourself in
story
that
starts to
bubble,
get
you know,
interesting.
and
When I was
not
doing
even
research, putting
encounter
together the mini doc, I noticed a bit of a
anything outside
pattern
of it.
where city councils facing public backlash would say, okay, we hear you guys, we will cancel Flock,
They just like
only to then sign a new contract with Axon, including this example that you see here from Douglas County, which is the Denver area,
especially
where
for
the sheriff's office
these
voted to
boomers are
replace
all
Flock
like
cameras
retired
with
now with
a
like nice
$22.8
McMansions
million
and vacation
Axon
homes.
system. Flock to Axon, that's what we call 6 in one, half a dozen in the other. Another example is Syracuse, New York. Quote, the Syracuse Common Council on Monday voted to pass an agreement with Axon to install 26 new license plate readers. The 5-year agreement, which comes at a
What
cost
data
of
are you talking about,
$422,000,
Melanie?
goes
What are you
into effect
what are you
March
trying to
1st.
get a hold of?
The city presently works with Flock for the same technology, but city leaders express concerns about the collection and sharing of personal information under that arrangement. I've noticed probably
Talk about
6 or
babies
7
and
of
how
these
all their
kinds of cases
babies.
where cities are shifting from Flock to Axon that I know of so far. There are probably many more. So the big question is, what is going on here? Well, let's talk about who owns Flock and who owns Axon. Okay, on one
I don't
side,
like where this is
Flock,
going.
you have investment groups like Andreessen Horowitz. That is Mark Andreessen's group, the Conehead guy. Further down the list, you see highlighted Founders Fund. That is Peter Thiel's group. Y Combinator below that, that is the group that used to be run by Sam Altman. And then on the other side, Axon, that is a public company that is 91% owned by institutional investors, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street. That's the big three, and they are the top 3 shareholders of the company. I hope you guys are noticing a little bit of a pattern here. It's Silicon Valley technocrats on one side with Flock, and the other side, Wall Street bankers and finance. I think when people talk about the powers that be, quote unquote, whether you want to call it the deep state or the Illuminati or whatever, they often think that they're unified. Okay. In many cases, they do have a similar shared goal. But at other times, there's a turf war going on in the background that doesn't get talked about a lot. And I think this might be one of those situations happening right now. Okay, almost every single piece of content that I've come across about mass surveillance specifically targets Flock, not necessarily the mass surveillance industrial complex as a whole. So I thought, that is very interesting. Could it be a coincidence? Maybe. But then I saw MAGA influencers starting to get involved in the conversation. Here, Tim Pool is talking about how Flock cameras are really just AI law enforcement. They are building a system of evil to track normal, everyday people. I couldn't agree more. But again, the target is specifically laser focused on Flock. Matt Walsh just did a deep dive a couple days ago about Flock. And here's Eric Daughtry, another MAGA mouthpiece account, I would consider him, posting about Flock cameras being vandalized. You guys perhaps picking up what I'm putting out there? There's a bit of a pattern emerging. And then I came across this reporting from Tony Ortiz, a reporter from Texas, who claimed, quote, at least 2 influencers he's spoken to have been approached with offers of money in exchange for posting negatively about Flock cameras on X.
Dude, I would definitely do that.
Not just a theory.
Why don't
We're
they
talking about
hit
a
me
possible
up?
paid influencer campaign. Weird, to say the least. And then this morning, as I was putting this piece together, I saw that Tim Burchett announced that he's going to propose a bill to block Flock cameras. Let's take a listen.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett.
Yeah, compassion over
I've
systemic
proposed
training.
legislation.
Yeah.
Here's the bill.
Dude, it's my boy
eliminate
Bird
federal
shit.
funding and federal agencies purchasing those Flock cameras. I find it pretty disgusting. They're pretty draconian, and you can look that up if you want to know what that means.
Well, given everything that's happened in the past few years, few decades, quite honestly, I think most of us do know what draconian means. But of course, I think the big question that we have to ask is Is he against flop cameras, or is
I don't think he knows about the other ones.
I don't know for sure yet. But here's something that we
I
do
think
know
that's
for
all
sure
he
about
thinks.
all of this is that Donald Trump
He's a
earlier this
fucking
year
dum-dum.
invested millions of dollars into
I like him because of the
Axon
UFO
Enterprise.
shit.
My spidey senses are tingling, right? Could we be seeing some kind of mass psyop against Flock, basically creating public backlash against one specific company?
It's not like anybody is going to
okay,
fucking.
no more Flock. The people are like, hell yeah, we
Then
got
they're gonna
him.
say no
They
more
start to tune
Axon.
out, and that's when they
No,
quietly sign.
if they get a new camera company, people will be pissed off about that.
Absolute doozy. Okay, in 2015, Jeffrey Epstein partnered with former Israeli Prime Minister Ehud Barak to invest in a security tech startup called Reporting Homeland Security, now known as Carbon. Yes, Jeffrey Epstein in Israel is a part of this story, as they usually are. Guess who owns Carbon now? That's right, Axon. November 2025, Axon bought Carbon as part of their quote-unquote new 911 network push. This new $625 million buyout of the emergency dispatch and communications tech firm is meant to help Axon craft a public safety ecosystem.
See, they all just try to grab
there's that
fucking monopolies.
buzzword, public safety. But this is crazy, is it not? Epstein could have made $100 million on secret police tech investment. Former Israel Prime Minister Ehud Barak helped the convicted sex offender quietly invest $1 million in a police tech startup in 2015. Its founder said the company, which is set to be acquired by Axon for $625 million, wasn't aware of Epstein's involvement. Sure. I think you think of it like this. Flock, on one side, represents this new wave of technocratic elites, the Mark Andreessens, Peter Thiels, and Sam Altmans of the world, who are in many ways now starting to control and decide what the rules of engagement are. And on the other side, you have Axon, which is kind of like the old guard, BlackRock, Wall Street, Epstein, Trump, who are saying, wait a minute, not so fast. We still want to rule over the world the way we used to. So is Flock being maybe set up as the public fall guy as they all shift to a different mass surveillance company? That is the theory that I'm presenting. But I think regardless of whether or not all of this is just a huge coincidence or not,
fucking JT,
the key takeaway for all of us
that
has
guy,
to be
man. Yeah, don't call
we can't get hung
911.
up
I mean, don't
on
call
Flock
911
or any other
anyway.
individual company, but we
I
have
mean,
to
yeah,
fight against
so-
mass surveillance as a whole.
Did he get paid by
That's the dig for
Flock?
today. Let me know what you guys think. Am I onto something with this theory? Sound off in the comment section below, and just
I don't know. If there's a new camera company, people will also be mad about that. I don't know. I don't know how much, you know. Oh, we never watched Adam Freeland on Mehdi Hassan. I just remembered. I kind of want to watch this thing too, though. What is this
India
thing?
is in the middle
Is this
of a
real?
major youth-led uprising. As we speak, all shops, restaurants, and offices in central Delhi have been ordered to be shut. Internet has been jammed, and
Modi's Trump's boy, man. Why would he do this to
have been
him?
flown into Delhi. This is in response to another night of massive protests
Black and
led
white
by
flag
students
with
and
the
youth
blue stripe.
demanding the resignation of the country's education minister,
Maybe I have to see it.
Pradhan, over his failure to run the country's centralized exam system smoothly, which has negatively impacted millions of Indian students. And of course,
Probably
I think
those first.
For our audience in the United States, they're wondering why is that such a big deal? We're going to get into that because I think it's hard to kind of comprehend what this actually means to an audience maybe outside of India, but that aside, these protests have been led by the so-called Cockroach Janta Party, CJP, along with left groups in the country. They've been protesting for over a month now and holding Pradhan and the right-wing Bharatiya Janata Party and the central government responsible for forcing the government to cancel
I mean, he's pretty good about,
exams multiple times,
talking around disagreements.
They've actually pointed to the fact that the stress
really,
of the exam cancellation has led several students to commit suicide. The movement is demanding not only the resignation of the education
he like makes fun of it and then tries to move on.
The country's education and exam systems, as well as the compensation for families whose loved ones have died by suicide because of this scandal. So to talk about this movement, what's happening in India right now, and what has been happening over the past week, where we saw
would be
major
interested to
episodes
see
of
that.
police repression, we are very honored to be joined by Dr. John Brittas, who is a member of Parliament representing the state of Kerala in the Parliament. So, John, thank you so much for joining us here at Breakthrough News Live.
That chatter never came back, huh?
Thank you very much. Nice to speak to you. Though you said it's a happy Thursday, for us it's a very sad.
I wonder if it was this guy.
Sad Thursday. It's one of the darkest Thursdays which we have seen in our history. There's a clampdown on our youngsters. We were on the street now. A few minutes back. We all gathered at Gandhi Memorial. The memorial in the name of Mahatma Gandhi, to send a message to his government that democracy means understanding all of us. Democracy means.
What are they mad about? Is it like memes?
Means having empathy for our youngsters. We feel that some good sense will prevail over this government, which was completely the capital city into a martial Raj. The police has taken over the capital city, and it's unfortunate, as you rightly said, the metro stations have been closed, the shops and establishments have been closed, and
he looks like he's like smirking.
And there are looming threats over the youngsters who are sitting at Jantar Mantar, the capital city, that there could be a crackdown. So we felt that the members of the parliament shouldn't be in the parliament discussing things with the government, but we should be on the streets to protect our youngsters.
He broke his bat.
Ruthless police action.
And we're very lucky that
what are those cops
you were able to
swinging?
join us, because as you said, you were just moments ago on the streets in this protest led by members of parliament to demand that the central government stop the repression.
You gotta read the room
movement.
better, too.
But before we get into what has taken place, this past week with the massive repression, we wanted you to kind of explain to our audience a little bit about
Just
this
because you
movement.
disagree with the streamer about something doesn't mean you need to like
The protest didn't start this week. They've been going on for several weeks.
air it out or whatever.
What is it that brought so many young people onto the streets? We know there are several people that even were on hunger strikes. What is the cockroach?
Sometimes I can't help it, but I try to not do that.
Can you help us understand a little bit about what is happening and what are youth demanding right now on the streets?
Right. I feel that I need to explain the contours of.
I mean, he probably got you pretty good.
The whole idea of cockroach party.
You mean wasted time? Like, here's a good example, though, right? Like, the demon rats wouldn't do something like subpoena breakthrough. I mean, maybe here and there or whatever, but like, the fact that like they're trying to do this Red Scare thing with Cuba, like that's a difference. So like, I don't know if you can say it's like a waste of time. Even if just like electing a Democrat so they don't like, escalate would be helpful. What was he? Did he say vote for Joe Biden? Did he tell his people to? He did, didn't he? Yeah. Pennsylvania is a swing state too, huh?
Turned to be activists.
I guess he didn't do too good.
So there was a slur attached to the youth. Suddenly, social media grabbed this slur on the youth, and they formed a cockroach Janata party, and that is the beginning of it. And as you can understand,
yeah, I don't like the name.
Discontent amongst the youth of this nation. We always claim that India has got a demography which is.
That looks like a fucking lame protest, dude.
The growing unemployment, the crisis of credibility with regard to the exams. 152 centralized exams have been leaked, but no accountability fixed. So there was discontent brewing.
He moved to the West Coast?
So
really?
The dreams of the youngsters.
I didn't know that. He lives in California now?
See,
does he hang out with Assad?
Ventilated the agony of this youth. There started this movement.
Not at all, huh?
And we, members of the left party.
Is it a slang term in India?
Unions, student organizations attached to left movement also decided that we should extend our wholehearted support to this.
Why did he move to LA?
Actually, came up as a organic movement. And now at this juncture,
oh man, cockroaches are gross.
It's a bounden responsibility to the opposition of this country to help them to extend support to this.
Oh yeah, that exam thing. That's it.
Mounting pressure and tactics on the part of the government to crush it. So we feel that it's called upon to us as our responsibility to stand with the hapless.
Yeah, the cockroach. Yeah, seriously.
And also frustration. Now the demands are very reasonable. The first demand is that the education minister, Mr. Dharmendra Pradhan, has to quit. And in any democracy.
So this is a small group of people then. I guess in a country that big, the amount of people taking the medical exam is huge. It's got to be millions of people. Yeah, okay, that makes sense, Tukes.
See, those people who are at the helm of affairs, the responsibility needs to start from the top. Now the Prime Minister has put up a strange.
I mean, they might get this, huh?
That
yeah. He doesn't look like that large,
but for him, the responsibility starts from.
I guess if you have kids,
that is where we have a clash difference of opinion.
You want to take the exam.
Now, as things stand now, see, there was brutality unleashed.
There's probably a lot of people like that.
Children, innocent students, and many students fluent from different nook and corners of this country and also from abroad. It was such a organic movement, spontaneous.
The way they rigged the elections there, like
reached the gates of the parliament.
It's a lot of like paper documents and stuff, huh?
Shaken. This government survives only on hate.
They have like remote areas.
The people in the name of religion.
Spotty connectivity.
Youngsters absolutely spurned every attempt to divide them into different classification classes, boxes of religion and caste. So this is a time when people of this country wants to go to
the upwelling of discontent is good. Yeah.
So-called boxes which the government wants to.
Yeah.
And as I told you,
dude.
even
student loans. I have so much student debt.
On the roads, we are not even allowed to move. And I could see hundreds of students who have been thrashed, beaten.
They leaked the paper documents to the rich kids.
The day of the Parliament March. And many of these people were held to police vans.
The test questions.
Captivity. So, just because we are a member of Parliament, we forced open many of the police vans and discharge them or release them. See, there are hundreds of students who have been beaten up mercilessly. And even, the roads of the policemen are with nails. So you can see the marks of the nails like that.
Yeah, what are they hitting them with? Those bamboo sticks?
Not only by the Delhi police, but also the
I mean, it's better than what they get here, I guess.
Used to protect the borders of this nation. And this government would not have used such terror tactics against the enemy country. But they have turned against.
They were rigging. They probably were. Yeah, they probably are.
A major driving force behind these protests is this mismanagement of these national entrance exams in India. And I think for people, especially in the United States, this is really hard to wrap our heads around.
What do you mean? No, it's not. We can definitely relate to something like this, though.
Could you elaborate
It's the
on
same
what
dynamic,
these exams are, and maybe talk about the centrality of these exams?
Same type of shit happens here. Like even just like SAT prep and stuff. Like
at a time when young people,
it like costs money to like get good tutors to do good on the SATs, right? Like there's all kinds of class divides that make all kinds of barriers. And now I think it's just the barrier is that people see how fucked up everything is. Like there's no, AI is like the only thing. If you get hit with the sticks, you go into shock from the proteins coming out in the really? Oh wow, I've never heard that. That's wild. That makes sense though. The grad paper grades seem to matter more for them.
record levels of precarity in terms of access to education and employment.
I mean, yeah, it's probably just rigged the whole way. It's probably just part of the rigging.
People in the United States may not be grabbing the
more people take this than the SAT in the USA. Wow.
And just to
there's so many fucking people there.
Attached to it. For example, medical entrance who wants to enter into medical profession.
Oh, so it's more than just medical school.
2.5 million students appear for the entrance examination. Hardly 50,000
200 million
are eligible to study medicine with discounted fee level.
200 million people?
A lot of money in private medical entities.
Wow.
And most of the parents want to make their children either a doctor or an engineer. And their lifetime savings is being kept for that.
That can't be right. 200 million people? No way.
Entrance coaching centers to cross the threshold of
maybe that's a translation thing.
The unfortunate thing is that they caucus to study medicine with discounted fee level. Otherwise, people will have to shell out a lot of money in private business attached to it. For example, medical entrance who wants to enter into medical profession. Something like 2.5 million.
2.5. Oh, okay. 2.5.
Hardly 50,000 people are eligible.
I thought he said 200 million. 2.5 million.
Fee level. Otherwise, people will have to shell out a lot of money in private medical entities. And most of the parents want to make their children either a doctor or an engineer. And their lifetime savings is being kept for that. And these students for years slogan
we had a meritocracy
centers to cross the threshold of the
like at least in Georgia. I remember the deal was you could go to state school, but you had to keep a B average. If you got below B, then you lost your scholarship. You had to have a 3.0.
This entrance examination. The unfortunate thing is that a caucus which is connected with this government leak the purpose. So those people
who
can
their
bribe
shoes?
those people get this question purpose in advance. So many a time the credibility of such examines are questioned. So the students thought enough is enough. For example, the last NEET examination. NEET is the qualifying examination to enter into medical profession. And the question paper was leaked.
What other tests are there?
2.5 lakh students were on the road, virtually on the road.
Yeah, the smart kids figured it out first, but it's probably everywhere else too.
To take the exams again, but it's a turmoil for those people, and it has been happening on all the fronts. Whether it is university exam, whether it is engineering exam, whether it is an exam to get a employment at the government level. So all plethora of centralized exams have been in the shadow of such scam, and no head was rolled, no responsibility was paid, no investigation, no meaningful investigation was ordered into.
So like climate protesters there? Seems like there'd be a lot.
Amongst the youth of this country, it's a large population, 1.4 billion people. So, and majority of them are youngsters. So we call the Gen Z population.
Youngsters?
So they found it to be very hard to take it. So this movement started on the frustration, distrust, lack of credibility of this government. So I feel that this was waiting. Now,
what else is going on, man?
The tactics of this government
this seems like a fucking weak sauce to build a movement around, though.
They think that they can
just being real.
Power. So, whenever there is a crisis for this government, they talk in terms of Hindu-Muslims like that. And almost all the legacy media echo the line of the government. So one interesting aspect which I feel that people in the United States should also know that those, we call them Godi media, that means laptop media. This media which is supporting the union government, the central government, the federal government, in your terminology, when they used to come to this protest site, they are being jeered at, they are being virtually driven out. So the distrust, the legacy media as in this country also has been underlined by the students.
No, and that's, I think, extremely important. And we've seen that in a lot of protest movements in recent times of how people really understand the role that media is playing. And, before we let you go, I just wanted to ask about how this movement is relating to other protest movements that the Modi central government has been facing. It seems that with Monday's repression and kind of the mass character of this protest on Monday, the violence that people were facing, it seems like it was maybe a turning point from being, just about students to maybe relating to the broader movement against the right-wing government. And again, since Modi has been in office, since he was elected prime minister in 2014, there have been several waves of protests, whether it's the farmers' protests or in JNU, there's a wave of protests, the anti-CAA mobilizations that took place, several waves.
Really?
But again,
anti-CIA?
the BJP continues to be reelected.
When was this?
Whether
I don't remember
or not,
that.
As we know in the last elections, maybe a little weaker. But can you give us an assessment at this moment of the overall state of organized opposition to Modi and the BJP government? How do the previous waves of protest against the central government relate to this one? And what role is the left playing in driving this opposition?
As you rightly said, one of the most important...
Didn't the Communist Party lose the last election?
And the impact also resonated across this nation. And during the last election, Modi actually lost the majority on account of such protest. But, there is a disconnect between the ground level politics and the electoral politics. Electoral politics, so much of manipulations happen because at the behest of institutions which are servile to this government, even the election commission is compromised. And we also have got apprehensions about the...
you remember how rigged it was?
Which needs to be the custodian of the people's
so
fundamental
janky.
rights. They having said that,
they were like, "Oh no, never mind. It's actually
resonated across the nation, and other sections of the people are also aware of it. Though it has been started by the youngsters, I feel that even farmers, people in other segments, even government officers who are all frustrated. They're also into this movement in one way or other way. And another very important vertical is that earlier, many opposition parties had some reservation with regard to this cockroach movement, whether it is a ploy by, say, deep state or someone else is behind it. There has been many theories that have been floated. But now we all have come to the one understanding that this protest, this movement has to be enriched, cherished. The message of it also has to be taken to the different nook and corner of this country. So in one way, I feel that for the first time during many years, Modi is on wax. And that's why for the first time in Parliament, there is a provision of adjournment motion wherein under a particular clause of the rule of the Parliament, you adjourn the business and then have a full-fledged discussion. And at the end of the discussion, you will have voting. So last 25 years, the lower house didn't have this adjournment motion admitted. And even
it is illegal to carry bigger sticks than them.
I mean,
or is it?
Senate.
You got my ass beaten by Delhi police. Really?
Discussion was dormant for a decade or so. Now, because Modi, has been pushed to the wall, the government agreed to have a wholesome, full-fledged discussion on the basis of this rule, that is adjournment motion rule, in both the House of the Parliament. So this is the level
we don't
of
do anything
frustration
sensible whatsoever.
That can be evident now. But now the opposition feels that
What's his
discussion
name?
is not the need of the hour. We need to have action. The responsibility needs to be pinned.
Who is it? Danius got the wife
should start from the top.
on doing a
The
residency.
minister who is in charge of all these examinations is not only the medical entrance examination, even the higher secondary +2, which you call the higher secondary examination, also was compromised. And you know the number of students who take all these examinations? These are millions. Just add the parents.
How many people take the SAT?
Relatives to it. So it could be like, say, 50, 60 million people being directly affected by the mismanagement, corruption, and the compromise that has been happened.
Intense.
And many of the agencies which deal with such entrance examination are
Why'd you get your ass beaten by the Delhi police?
Dispensation. The BJP or its
New Cheddar,
father
Saxash.
organization, that is RSS. So now the people have realized that. In one way, I appreciate the fact that the movement started at an organic level with youngsters beyond political affiliation. And at the second stage, the political parties have roped in. Now, it is for the courts, other institutions also to get emboldened, because democracy can survive only if the institutions also become sensitive enough to discharge their responsibilities. I feel that this protest, which has actually shattered the position, so-called hubris of Narendra Modi or the Prime Minister or the government or the regime.
What did he say?
Would be injecting some sort of confidence amongst the various institutions. That's my feel.
Oh, we're
That's
not
my
hearing
deal.
his side
but
of
I
the
can
story.
tell you one thing. I have been in capital city as a student, as a journalist.
He should just fire
last,
this
3.5
education
decades.
minister.
I have not seen such a movement with vitality, vigor, determination.
This guy's
And
stoked.
despite,
Cool.
companies of police being deployed with
I mean,
all
it doesn't look that intense, but good for him.
The students braved all these obstacles and they reached the corridors of power. Virtually, the government was shaken. That's why, after waiting for 3 weeks, the government was prepared for discussion.
Yeah, didn't they read that
thought that ignoring this movement would have
magazine
been the best way
website?
putting it down. But eventually,
The VJ was working with,
ministers
the
invited
Tricontinental
the
people.
representatives of these students for discussions. So the hubris has been more or less dented in one way or the other way. And I feel that a country like India, and I always release the
Who was
statement
that? I
of,
forget who it was.
Lenin,
Was
who
it
says that there are
People's
decades
Dispatch, or-
when nothing would happen. Decades would pass without any events. But there could be weeks when decades happen. So in Indian politics, I feel that the golden words of Lenin would be having its impact, considering and seeing the movement which is around me. And I am also glad that I am part of it.
Really?
That's, incredible. You came directly from the
Dude.
streets to hear us.
Lenin
to
would be
speak with us,
stoked? Really? That's a
here
bold claim
on
to
Breakthrough
make,
News
man.
Live. MP from the Communist Party of India, Marxist John Brittas. Thank you so much for joining us here on Breakthrough News, giving us a report from the ground. And we'll hope that today the repression is not as fierce as it was Monday, and that the students continue to resist. And we'll definitely be following this story.
Cool. Good. I guess I
Thank you very
see
much,
it now,
Vicky, for this
actually.
opportunity to explain what
It's like a
exactly
regional
is,
thing. You know, like the left is strong down there, and they can get the student led to attack the central government up north. Yeah, that's good. That's good. Yeah. I mean, I always say this though, like, why is the left so successful just in this one region of the country?
don't people look at the successful model? Like, oh, wait a minute, all of their numbers are better. Why don't we do that, you know?
USA! USA! USA!
I got kicked out of my diversity class for speaking the truth. I'm gonna get canceled for saying this. I think it's 100% coming from Jewish people. I used to be one of those blue-haired liberal women, and then I realized I woke up one day and I was like, they want to destroy, you know, white people. They want to get rid of the goyim. They think we're cattle.
Yeah, 100%. I think everyone should quit paying their taxes.
Fuck hookers and do cocaine. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Kids at home, don't do that.
Freedom of vice isn't necessarily the truest freedom.
They're trying to make us stupid. That's why men's testosterone levels have decreased, what, freaking 70%? Guys nowadays have the same testosterone levels that like a 70-year-old man had like 20 years ago. You seem relatively high.
The Jews. It was definitely the Jews.
I'm telling you, getting rid of bullying has created a bunch of soy boys doing things they shouldn't be, like wearing cattails, wearing cat ears out in public. Like, what are you doing?
This is my friend. It's his first day in America.
It's my first time in America. Hey, welcome. Go skydiving, go to Juneau, hit the zip line, and go snow machining.
There's literally millions of lakes in Alaska.
Millones de montañas y millones de lagunas. How do you feel to be American?
Oh, they're in Alaska.
I love it. America. 250 years ago, a bunch of great men came together and founded this nation.
Okay.
You're from Mexico. Why the fuck did you come to Glacier View, Alaska on our birthday?
It's for July 4th? The birthday of USA?
That's good enough with me.
Okay.
Rock and roll.
It's 4th of July, America 250. How do you feel about the current state of affairs in the country?
Well, they're about as corrupt as you can get. It doesn't get any better, and it won't get any better.
Do you guys think we have another 250 left in us?
Of course.
What does it mean to be an American?
I'm not yet.
Oh, where are you from?
Northeast Russia.
No way! You're indigenous to Siberia?
Yeah. America's the best place on earth. It's a free country. You know, this is the best place on earth to be. Whether or not
Dude, they probably love him.
Canadian, Mexican, British, French, you can become an American, and that's special.
I will say
Really?
this, my amigos treat me better.
Really? I might have to like change the scene. Hold on. I fixed the fucking thing the other night and it didn't fix it. 60,000 public medical seats where they have heavily subsidized tuition, 60,000 private medical seats, which is very expensive. The public seats are super competitive, families spend their savings trying to get tutors. Like in, whatchamacallit, in Parasite. Yeah, it's just like, isn't that the one kid studying for the exam in Parasite? The rich kid and the poor kid are both studying for it. Right? Am I misremembering that? Yeah, it's fucking better, you know. It's better there than it is here, right? American dream is dead.
Better than my family, my familia. Way better than my familia. You think we're going to make it another 250? With the bullshit that's going on today? I don't know about that. They give you the perception that's fucking freedom over here.
I think it means an awful lot to be an American where you're supposed to have freedom. The more regulations, rules, and laws, the less freedom you have.
There is no freedom. We're all slaves. I go to work every day for 10, 12 hours, and I get
Is that the guy from Russia?
2 hours with my family a day, but I have to work to pay all my bills.
Wait a minute, I missed it.
For all that.
Who was the guy from Russia? Is that him? That would be funny if it was him.
Shouldn't be paying for water. Shouldn't pay for power. Are you kind of like a socialist? No. I don't talk to people.
If we go another 100 years, I'd be surprised. History says it will not make it with all the fraud that is going on from the politicians and everybody else. It's going to burn down and be taken over. Canada won't be okay. No country will be okay.
How about Mexico?
Mexico won't be okay.
Mexico won't be okay.
I believe it. And what's going on today at the event?
Oh, there's just a bunch of rednecks getting out having fun.
Hey everybody,
fine, man. Don't worry about Mexico.
Happy birthday to the United States. We are here outside of Anchorage, Alaska at an amazing event.
Hey yo, estamos en vivo y en directo desde Anchorage, Alaska.
Where they're launching hundreds of cars off of a cliff to celebrate the independence of our great nation.
Los 250 años de fundación que tiene este país, donde mucha gente aquí tomó cita para vivir este magno evento de carros extremos. Vamos a ver sentimientos encontrados. ¿Qué siente la gente de ser americano? ¿Cómo lo ven? ¿Cómo va su vida? Así que acompáñenos.
Behind me, there's about 400 Americans waiting to use the restroom. I'm going to try and talk to some of them and figure out what it means to be American and what's their favorite thing about being free. Question, what does it mean to be an American?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know enough to speak scientifically, but the data centers. AI is the end of the world.
Yeah,
I just feel like it's not good. It's not. I've been seeing so much research about like the data centers taking so much water and everything. I feel like we're just all headed in a bad
being
direction.
invaded.
¿Qué se siente estar aquí en Alaska?
You guys are fucked down
Me gusta
there.
mucho.
¿Y cuál dirías que es el sueño americano?
Pues, la verdad,
dude, you guys got them all over the place, man.
Que sí se pueden hacer cosas. Si tienes metas, las puedes cumplir. Es lo que estoy siguiendo hoy. Llegó mi jefa y yo le estoy chingando para cumplir ese sueño.
Happy 250th anniversary, America. We made it. So can you tell us your name and your connection to the event?
Yeah, my name is Aspen Garfield. I'm part of the Garfield family that homesteaded out here
Aspen
in the 70s, and we're close
Garfield?
family friends with Arnie.
And what can you tell us about the history of this
Aspen
event?
It started with the lack of fireworks. Usually there's a burn ban here, and we just started pulling wreckers and beater cars from everybody's properties.
How many cars are they going to launch off there?
I'm guesstimating upwards of 38.
And how big was like the first event in terms of people?
Maybe like 35 people.
Garfield.
And it was like a couple cars. Like I remember my cousin's Toyota Camry being one of them.
How would you compare, like, I know it's hard to ballpark, but how many people do you think are here today?
So my aunt that does the ticket sales told me 10,000.
And it connects to a homesteading tradition, right?
Yes, it does. So homesteading here in Alaska is a little different. The state didn't exist till the late 60s. So anybody that was here before is considered a true land homesteader. My family homesteaded in the 70s just off a plot of land. There was no highway here, and that's what my grandpa came to build, was to help with DOT. In this family, we say it brings everybody together. The queers, the chuds, we got them all. We got them all, and we love each other. But yeah, I think it brings the American essence of freedom of speech, right to bear arms, right to drive fast with no helmets, right to launch cars.
Do you think America's going to make it another 250?
I don't know.
Dubious.
I don't know about that. But for now, we're here, and it's actually cool as shit.
A shout out to Channel 5 all around the world. There's even people in Yugoslavia watching this right now.
Where do they get all these cars, man?
What does it mean to be an American?
Freedom. America, America, America. Another day, another beer. Right to drive fast with no helmets.
La verdad, libertad.
Make America Charlie Kirk.
In what sense?
What he stood for, Christian, American principles, Donald Trump. I think the Iran war was necessary. I didn't like paying extra money for gas either, but they're never going to have a nuclear weapon. Remove the threat, sponsoring terrorism all over the world. Dude, you don't honor Charlie's legacy at all. For good. There will be peace in the Middle East.
You think that's possible?
I do. I think Europe is a bigger problem right now with the immigration and all that stuff.
What? Fuck you, Great Britain. Fuck you. Fucking teabag loving motherfuckers, dude. Try again. Do you think we're ever going to have that kind of problem?
We started to, but I think we're getting rid of the problem.
Our friend here, he's from Mexico. He's here for the first time. He's been in the country on a tourist visa for 24 hours.
Awesome.
You think he could ask you a thing or two about the July 4th?
Sure.
Hey, Josué.
Hola, chicos. Estás viendo Canal 5 Latinoamérica. El mejor canal de noticias en todo el mundo.
Hi. It's my first time in America. What's the bucket list to things to do?
Visit all the national parks. This is a good place to start in Alaska.
There's endless shit to do. Salta de un avión en el cielo.
If you think that you live in Alaska and there's nothing to do, you just haven't done it yet. You're just lazy.
So many rivers. We have the best salmon in the world.
You see a bear?
Yeah, we see bears all the time. They're around here a lot. They're not going to be around here right now because all the noise, but this is the area where bears are a lot of the time. And then Kenai and down south, lots of bears.
If you see a bear, make some noise if it's coming at you. If it's black, fight back. If it's not, then just chill. I don't even know. It might be vice versa.
You like American food?
It is
I like
black,
Mexican food.
fight back.
Tacos, enchiladas, tamales. I love tamales.
Yeah.
The drug cartels problem?
Yeah, it's a biggest problem.
Okay.
But the cartel is with the government and...
Yeah, the corruption is so intertwined with the government there that it's like eliminating the cartel is almost impossible because they've evolved to more than a drug trafficking organization. They have stake in oil and farming and everything, so it's an endemic issue.
Yeah. They're just another corporation.
Do you like Trump?
My favorite Jewish president? Yeah, no. I liked him originally.
My
but
favorite
I found
Jewish
this guy
president.
named Andrew England one day, and I liked what he said. I'm gonna be real.
Editor-in-chief of the Daily Stormer?
Yes,
No
sir.
way.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Oh,
Believe it or
wow.
not, I used to be one of those
Nazi.
blue-haired liberal women, and then I realized and woke up one day, and I was like, it's coming from Jewish propaganda.
Nazi.
It's destroying
Wow.
America. Israel is trying to infiltrate us.
I mean,
American
she's
first,
not, wrong,
not
but-
Israel first. Historically, nations
She's also a
fall
Nazi.
around this, age mark, whatever you want to call it. So,
why do you think 9/11 happened?
The Jews. It was definitely the Jews. Their end goal was to promote us destroying the Islamic race and the Islamic religion because they oppress Israel. I mean, if they don't have to do it, they just subcontract it out to somebody else, and that's us.
They want to destroy, white people. They want to get rid of the goyim. They're pushing birth control. They're pushing hating men. That whole boss bitch, boss babe mentality. When in reality, that's destroying women. That's destroying the Western family, like the nuclear family unit, which is essential for a productive and good society. They are stripping us of our femininity and what it means to be a woman. They're telling me I need to be the leader. I need to be the breadwinner. I need to be masculine. When in reality, that's destroying my nervous system, my cortisol levels. I think a woman is, meant to be at home, meant to be cooking, meant to be like having a farm, obviously having tasks and like her own little things she does. But a woman isn't supposed to be equal to a man because God created us to complement each other, not to be the same. I'm meant to, support my man, be his safe space, be his, the person he can turn to and be soft to when he is supposed to be hard to the rest of the world,
Who knows? We'll see.
All governments collapse sooner or later from that sort of thing. That is what history should be teaching us. If you read the good book, it says it will collapse, people will be punished, and they will be conquered by the Assyrians. And the Assyrians today are the Germans. And the Germans have tried to do it twice in the last 100 years already.
Most people pay attention to history. If you don't know history, it's going to repeat itself.
USA! USA! USA!
Oh my God.
USA!
I got kicked out of my diversity class for speaking the truth. They were saying how like the prison industrial complex is caused by white people and how white people are bad and how we caused a mass genocide when in reality we just conquered this land and things of that nature.
That's what that is.
Not all ethnicities are created equal. How come Africa's basically still in Stone Age if you go to villages? How come if I go to India, they're living in a shithole and there's trash on the street?
What can happen to bring the country together?
Man.
Literally nothing.
America will survive another 250 if there's a conservative revolution and we have reformation and more religious values instilled in school and in families, and we bring back the nuclear family.
So you watch that show and you're like, oh, this is good.
Of course.
And what is the American dream?
Be free and don't take shit from no one.
Don't take orders from no one else besides the boss, like Republicans, yeah.
I love America. Happy 250th birthday to America, but fuck everyone running it, honestly.
Anybody that's up in office, fuck you. America.
Country's corrupt, brother. What can I say?
Overrun the government.
Yeah, we 100% have the right to overrun the government in a situation like this. It's just crazy to me that it hasn't happened yet.
Sir, what do you think? Are we going to make it more time?
Of course we will.
How come?
Well, because I'm the bicentennial class from the Air Force Academy, and we're Spirit of 76, and it still lives.
The Spirit of 76. So after the Summer of Love, after Vietnam, when America was at its most tense moment, how does that compare to right now?
It's comparable. I mean, we've always had
that lady's
conflicts, and if you go back in history, that's why if you don't look at history, you don't learn from history. In my own family, I've got 2 on one side of the party, 2 on the other side of the party, but we still get along because we have a lot more in common than we have different.
It's cool to differentiate like American nationalism from like Americana cultural appreciation.
I agree. And it's such a weird divide in this specific valley already. This is another little point on top of that.
We kind of like to play the game at the car launch of, are you a queer or are you yeehaw? And the fashion sense is so blended. Yeah. But I actually like that. I feel like that's a real freedom. You could be anybody here. We live rural out here and then also in like rural California, so we're kind of back and forth. And I strongly prefer rural communities. Social connections are much stronger in these smaller communities. I mean, that's kind of an obvious thing. So have you heard of zoochosis?
Yeah, they're all cigarettes.
Zoochosis is when animals in a zoo become insane because they're trapped in a zoo, and I feel like people in cities start to develop these neuroses because they're not.
Yeah, it's us who's the problem.
So I've actually met this man before. That's me, and that's him. in 2020 in a land that should not be named.
Quite far from here.
Yeah, pretty far from here.
That was a good time, though.
I've switched sides, though.
You switched sides,
I've
yeah?
switched sides.
You're Team MAGA?
No, I didn't say that. I just am no longer a Portland leftist. Now I live in Glacier View and I work in the toil in the Glacier mines and say yeehaw a little more often. It's kind of a high control culture. So it's like, I feel like there's, fundamentalist Christianity, and then this is gonna probably piss people off, but fundamentalist leftism.
Yeah, it's more carceral than
It is a
anything.
lot more carceral,
And not to mention,
more punitive.
I would argue that Portland leftists alone may have doubled the MAGA movement in size.
I agree. They sort of pissed off the wrong people.
It tightened the red line.
Is there one particular detail where someone can be spotted as a Portland leftist?
Oh. Their reaction to the R slur. I am talking about retarded, yes, which has been reclaimed, not necessarily by me, but I'm neutral on the R slur.
Well, first of all, I would never call a mentally disabled person
Absolutely
retarded.
not.
Nor would I call a gay person gay.
It's about reading context. You aren't.
Like if you have a friend who's being gay.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with sexuality.
Exactly.
No, it doesn't,
I agree,
actually.
sweetheart.
They're just being gay. Yeah. Or gay. Yeah.
¿Qué piensas?
Me es bastante choqueante, la verdad, ver cómo el americano disfruta ver destruir cosas, ¿no?
¿Y qué aprendiste sobre la historia americana aquí?
Que lo que más aman es la libertad. Para muchos libertad significa diferentes cosas. También aprendí que algunos son muy orgullosos de los que verdad vale la pena y algunos son orgullosos de los que lo usan como un discurso de odio contra otras personas. Les gusta más celebrar solamente.
Bueno, el problema es que Estados Unidos es muy nuevo. Para cada persona es una cosa diferente.
Ven diferente la libertad. Trabajar mucho, algo que sea muy cierto, que también pasa en el mexicano, que no disfrutas de tu dinero ni disfrutas de tu vida por estar mucho en el trabajo y al final solamente estás sobreviviendo, ni siquiera estás viviendo, ¿no? Nada más salió para el otro día y ni siquiera hay tiempo de disfrutar a tu familia ni disfrutar tu mismo país, ¿no? Es interesante. Hasta ahorita lo que llevo, bien. Creo que empecé con el pie izquierdo conociendo Alaska, pero yo sé que otros estados me pueden hacer...
¿Tienes más preguntas sobre la vida americana después de este evento?
Demasiadas, demasiadas.
¿Qué son 3 preguntas que quieres?
¿Por qué les gusta tanto la locura? O sea, entiendo que están locos, pero ¿por qué les encanta justo como esa dopamina de la violencia, de ver algo explotar? Otra de las preguntas que tengo es acerca de su gastronomía. Me interesaría saber más. Sé que no son tan ricos en gastronomía, son una fusión de todas las gastronomías del mundo, pero me interesa probar algo originario que sí haya nacido aquí. A ver qué onda, eso es lo que más me llama la atención. Y pues estilos de vida en diferentes estados es lo que me gustaría conocer también.
Eso es la plan. Empezamos la aventura americano.
Carajo. Si visa, no hay pedo. Mi contacto americano.
¿Qué onda?
¿Qué onda? ¿Cómo estamos?
Muy bien, no frontera, no problema.
No visa, no problema. No hay visa, pero tampoco hay pedo.
Diferente situación.
América, libre.
México libre.
Free Culiacán.
Free Culiacán.
Free Michoacán.
Free Tlaxcala.
Free Tamaulipas.
Free Chihuahua.
Free Estado de México.
Free Sonora y Hermosillo.
Free Colima.
Free Durango.
Free Monterrey.
Free Oaxaca.
Free Tijuana.
Free Guerrero.
Free Nesa.
Free Nuevo Casas Grandes.
After some deliberation, Josue and I decided to hit the wide open American road in search of adventure, cuisine, and other cultural learnings. We are currently traveling and figuring out what to do next. If you have any suggestions on places that we should check out, let us know in the comments. The top comment suggestion will be added to the itinerary. But keep in mind, it is Josue's first time in our great nation, so it needs to be something truly and unapologetically American. Having some Spanish speakers around would be nice too, given that he's still in the process of developing his English proficiency. I'd also like to note that Josue's reportage in Alaska comes on the heels of him inviting me to Mexico's very own Independence Day last year, a video that many of you may not have seen because you don't follow our Spanish language channel.
Sorry. I wasn't gonna watch all that.
So for The View from Iran, we are now joined by Professor Syed Mohammad Marandi of the University of Tehran. Great to see you again, sir.
Good to see you, sir.
Thank you both for inviting me. It's always a great pleasure.
Of course. So we have a fresh Trump Truth Social for you to react to here. We don't even have the element made yet, so I'll read it to you. It says, a year ago, the United States of America attacked very powerfully the Houthis for their interference with commerce and trade by shooting at ships. Since that time, and during our conflict with Iran, they have acted very responsibly. Unfortunately, now they are starting up again, shooting at 2 Saudi Arabian ships last night. Please let this truth serve to represent that if they do this again, the U.S. will hold Iran responsible in that the Houthis are a surrogate and or proxy of Iran. Major military punishment will be inflicted upon Iran, and of course the Houthis themselves, who I am very disappointed with in that they have until now acted very professionally and smart. Your reaction to that, sir?
Well, we are already on Trump's list, even as he's waging war against the country. He said that any ship that's hit or even fired upon in the Strait of Hormuz, in response, the United States will take out a power plant or a bridge. Well, last night, 3 ships tried to pass through the Strait of Hormuz without the permission of the Iranian Navy, and one of them was struck and the other 2 retreated. So far, Trump has not carried out his threat. Of course, the Iranians have said that if he does so, then those countries in the Persian Gulf that are complicit in this war, their critical infrastructure will be destroyed. And we know what that would mean in the month of July in the Arabian Peninsula. That would effectively mean that these countries would have to be evacuated. Now, Ansarullah has its own grievances. The Yemen, or the Houthis, as they say in the West.
They negotiated a treaty with them last year, or a ceasefire or whatever.
And they see this as
now
the best moment to have leverage, because the Strait of Hormuz is closed. So they said, we're going to shut the Red Sea to Saudi Arabia until they lift the siege. And the United States waged war against Yemen. They didn't. The United States did not succeed. So far, the United States, in its war against Iran, has not succeeded. If Trump wants to fight 2 wars simultaneously against these 2 entities that he could not defeat, I don't think the result will be victory.
Professor, I'm curious for your reaction here about the ongoing diplomatic posture in Tehran. We can put A4 up here on the screen. Your foreign minister put this statement out yesterday. Our defense doctrine is clear, an eye for an eye. Any aggression against Iran, including our infrastructure, will compel a powerful and decisive response. Those who contribute to such aggression, whatever kind of support, will also be considered as legitimate targets. So if I pair this with some of the comments I've seen you make recently publicly going after many of these Gulf regimes, which are hosts, of course, to our bases. What can we expect if Trump does follow through with this threat of bombing civilian infrastructure, specifically bridges and energy targets around the capital city? Where will likely Iranian retaliation come?
Well, if we go back to the 40-day war, the Ramadan war, back then, the Israeli regime and the United States, they began targeting Iranian critical infrastructure. And one strike was on the South Pars gas field, the biggest gas field in Iran, which is a joint field with Qatar. And the Iranian response, because the Iranians had warned back then that they'd do the same thing, that they would strike back at the critical infrastructure of those countries that are hosting the U.S., that are enabling the U.S. to attack Iran, and the U.S. and the Israeli regime. So
maybe it's because they know Trump's going to do disclosure, and they're trying to prepare their people.
They struck back very hard, including striking at the Qatari gas facilities. And then Trump, right afterwards, put up a Truth Social statement saying that this is not going to happen again, and Netanyahu is not going to do this anymore. So that was Iran's deterrence. And a few days ago, when the Americans, as you recall, they started bombing Iranian bridges and tunnels, all civilian, and killing people who were on the bridge, including families, women, and children. Well, I'm not sure about children, but I do know about women. The Iranians threatened the United States and said that if you continue, we're going to strike back at the infrastructure. And the U.S. also hit a desalination plant and a hospital in the city of Kahraman, the children's hospital. So Iran, I'm sure you recall, struck Kuwait's electrical grid and a desalination plant to basically say that, look, take this threat seriously. And since then, the United States has sort of backed off, even though last night they did strike the border between Iran and Iraq, killing 2 pilgrims, which I don't know why they did that.
That's the question.
But in general, the United States has backed off. So the Iranian threat is real, and the Iranians will go and destroy the infrastructure of these countries. because they don't have access to U.S. infrastructure in the United States, so they're going to do it here. Now, if that happens, you both know exactly what that will mean. That will mean that the energy markets will be wrecked permanently, or at least for years to come. Because if Iran destroys the critical infrastructure in these countries, which are all deserts, and we're in the month of July, these countries will have to be evacuated, and that includes Saudi Arabia. The countries will fall apart. And that means that there will be no more energy for months, if not years to come. And that will lead to a global economic depression worse than the 1930s. This is not something that Iran wants. Iran didn't start the war. Iran didn't escalate. Iran didn't threaten to target critical infrastructure, but this is Iran's deterrence. They will do this, but they're saying they will do this so that Trump does not move in that direction.
Okay.
Professor, President Trump has claimed that Iran is begging to talk. I don't think there's any reason to take those claims seriously, but I am curious what the attitude within Iran, as far as you can glean, towards negotiations and diplomacy is at this point.
Well, we all know that he was saying this throughout this war. He's been saying it so many times. I don't know how many times exactly, but tens of times. And, in Iran, there's actually a different type of debate. There is a divide in Iran between those who think that the MOU was the right thing to do and those who said that we should not have signed the MOU and we should have just continued until things got worse for the United States. Both sides have an argument to make. I mean, those who were in favor of the MOU, they said, well, we took advantage of the first few days. We exported tens of millions of barrels of oil and imported critical supplies to prepare ourselves for the next phase because we knew that the United States would not abide by the MOU. And those who oppose it were saying, no, we should have continued. They were in bad shape and we should have just put more pressure on.
I mean, they're still in bad shape. They're in even worse shape now.
Let's negotiate now. No one is saying that. So the debate today is, and both sides
the president can declassify anything.
And I'm not in any particular camp myself. I think both have good arguments to make. But the point is that the talk is whether we should have been hitting harder and being more assertive rather than pursuing the policy that we did in the past. No one now is talking about negotiations.
Well, the curious thing, sir, I saw that you had said during the Memorandum of Understanding period, if you could say that there was some sort of understanding, is you were mimicking some of the rhetoric of our vice president, say that you were taking the opportunity to reload. So was this always the course of action that was in the minds of many of these Iranian leaders? And now that we are back in a phase where, some hot war has resumed, what would it take to resume the Memorandum of Understanding?
The Iranian leaders did not believe that the United States would abide by the MOU. And if they had, the Iranians would have fulfilled their side of the bargain, no doubt. The Iranian intention was there. And that's how it's been in the past. With the JCPOA, that's how it was. And it would have been the same today. But the Iranians knew that
not to respond to aliens without permission and to report it immediately if you're contacted
they all
by
believed
the aliens.
that the United States would not abide by its commitments, and it became pretty clear after 3-4 days. They did not hand over the stolen assets. They did not force the Israeli regime to leave Lebanon. Trump continued to threaten Iranian officials and the Iranian people, which is a violation of the deal. They expanded the sanctions regime, another violation. They removed the sanctions on oil exports, then reversed that after a few days, another violation. And of course, they, in violation of Article 5, they went and set up their own parallel corridor in the Strait of Hormuz, because in Article 5, Iran was supposed to manage the strait. So what the Americans were trying to do is to try to take control over the strait, take away Iran's leverage, and then not carry out its obligations and win a war that they could not win on the battlefield or through siege warfare. So, and then they bombed Iran.
But don't you think that they would,
after a couple of weeks of warning the Saudis and the Emiratis and the Americans not to do this, the Iranians
doing it like a public relations campaign,
and then the Americans waged war against Iran again, another violation, and reimposed the siege. So, the Iranians,
you know what I mean? Sure, it's been their policy, but they're just like, you know, sending out posters and, you know, alerts and whatnot, reiterating it. It's interesting. Yeah, I know, of course that's the policy, but then, like, you know what I mean? You don't think it's interesting that they're, like, recirculating that policy? Use AI to broadcast fake alien signals? I mean, I guess that's something a debunker would say. Oh, they're worried about fake AI alien signals. Yeah, that's what I mean. That sounds like such a debunker take. Oh, they're just concerned about the AI. Yeah, okay, dude. I don't know. Who knows? Does seem interesting. Yeah. Yeah, this part's tight.
For the first time, along with you, there you can see what looks like military footage.
Ugh. It's like desiccated. Yo, they just left his ass there. What do you mean? For... Is he caught in some barbed wire? Holy shit. Look at that thing, man. Holy fuck. It's like looking at us. Is it still alive? What do these guys say? Yeah. Yeah, dude, poking it with a stick, exactly. Yeah. 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 Look at this guy, see? This is what I mean, it's hard to fake shit. Look at this motherfucker. He's just like, oh, here's all the links I have about this case. He's like, here. He's got like a fucking page worth of links, like. Yeah. Look at that shit.
Yeah, ancient aliens.
Ooh.
I love it.
Did you see that documentary about, Dave loves to talk about it. It was on like, what was it called? The Age of Disclosure?
Oh my god, you nerd.
What did you think about it? Did you like it?
I mean, I love everything about ancient aliens, but that episode, Age of Disclosure, that's when they exposing everything that the government and all.
Yeah. He watched it, and I'm not kidding, for like 2 weeks straight.
No.
All he would say is, can I talk to you guys about the Age of Disclosure?
Well, the fascinating thing about aliens
Who's this
is
nerd?
just that
Who's this nerd?
Like, I feel like if an alien came down and was visible and caught on camera, like walking up to the White House and knocking, it would just shift humanity's like fundamental paradigm so dramatically.
Exactly.
So it's like this event that can change everything, and there's so many people
Who
that
is
are
this
like,
dork?
we've seen it, it's happened, but it's never been captured in full way. But I feel like, how could there not be aliens in general?
Of course. What you like?
It's definitely.
There has to be.
Of course, we also have to understand what an alien is.
Please.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
None of us know. So what I'm saying is, saying that to say we don't know we don't even know if they're from another planet.
Yeah, we don't know anything.
You know,
nothing.
the only
See, look
alien
at
that
Weezy,
we
man, he
supposedly
knows.
knew was the one from Roswell that lived.
He knows.
J-Rod.
Yeah.
I didn't know his name was J-Rod.
Yeah.
I don't know about him.
Yeah.
How do you get the name J-Rod?
No one. They said I think they may have named him, and they said
Yeah, dude.
J-Rod said that.
Yeah, Weezy.
Whatever said that. When they would ask, because supposedly they was, trying to get him back to where the hell he's
Yo,
from.
Weezy pill as fuck, man. I love it. Yeah, hell yeah.
How can we help you out
J-Rod said,
here?
I'm not from another planet. He said, I'm from another time.
Yeah, wow.
And so he was from another. He said that your world will end in a cataclysm, and some people will make it. A lot of people will, and they'll have to go
I don't know about that, dog.
Live within the planet. Basically, go like ants.
Yeah.
What?
And that civilization,
Dog.
that time will last so long that we'll adapt to living
Weezy,
there.
I don't want that
And
to
just like we
happen.
adapt
Come
to
on.
everything else, we're gonna start adapting to being an insect.
Dude, I won't
And
be
just
an
like
insect, man.
and
No.
we're devoid of light. That's why aliens' eyes are so big. Because they don't, whatever they came from, there's no light. And and the atmosphere
you
is so
be an
dense.
insect,
That's why
dog.
they don't grow. That's why they don't
Yeah,
grow
the
too
Amy
tall,
Eskridge
because the
thing,
atmosphere
yeah.
don't allow them to.
This
They
is
don't
like
eat the same
it's like some
food. That's why
Corso
they
shit,
get
right?
So big like that.
How do you know all this
It's
information?
like Corso
Where's it?
adjacent.
You just do like YouTube videos and whatnot.
No, I don't do YouTube.
How do you find this stuff? You got a guy on the inside?
No, it's
Would you get on a spaceship right
I was in a
now?
Lil Wayne
Like,
music
yeah, if they were like,
video.
hey,
I didn't know where we're going.
Moon.
Mars.
That's so far away, isn't it? Isn't Mars? Doesn't it take like years? Like.
Who
They
is
gonna
this
figure that
guy
out.
he's talking to,
Yeah.
man?
I
I
don't think it
can't.
takes years to
Takes a
get.
while. Elon Musk said something about the whole thing is taking longer than they thought because of the amount of
The amount of
time.
time, yeah.
But I
Some
thought
time
time
issue.
like becomes not a thing once you get past a certain point.
Well, Mars might not
Oh,
be
that's
involved with
a-
that.
Me.
What is it?
Because
Yeah.
time is just time isn't real.
Yeah, I get what
She
you're saying.
means
If we move fast
fucking
enough, though, we
no.
can move
She
faster
means
than time.
relativistic
Yeah.
traveling.
And then
We
I
took the
bet.
answer to how to do that sort of fast thing.
Well, Einstein figured it out. We just ain't pay him no mind when he told us. And
Yeah.
he told us that he figured it out by it was raining, and he was just looking up at a light at a street post, and he turned his head real fast, just like, and did it, and noticed that when he kept doing it, he noticed stuff started slowing down when he did that. The faster he did it, so he figured it out. He figured it out like, wait, if I was in something that could move fast, I probably can actually move faster than time.
If you had the
Faster
option
than time.
right now to be taken away by somebody and learn all of the facts there are to
Who
know
is
about
this
everything,
dork?
whatever you want
Dude,
to know
who
about
are these people?
aliens,
Whatever we want.
the past, the present, the different times. The
Okay.
Who's he
get all the
talking
information
to?
you could possibly
It's like
have.
Make a Wish for this guy.
But
Like I want to talk to
you only have
Weezy.
1 month to live. If you learn everything, you have no more curiosity because you know everything. But in a month you die, but you still have a month to convey all the information, tell the world all the facts. Do you do it, or do you choose to live like another 40 years and have fun on Earth, or however long?
Oh, you ain't, so that's the alternative. You get
question.
to live another 4 years
Yeah, on
without
Earth,
telling people.
No, you live without any of the facts. You don't
Yeah,
know.
so you
You
either
don't-
live your normal
live,
life
yeah,
or
you
you
live
do
a
this
normal
thing
life
and then die in a
another
month.
40.
Yeah.
Dude,
I
Weezy
do that
sounds
because
confident
most
in
likely
his-
I'm not-
in his
I won't-
perspective.
I won't be. I'll have too many answers to that. What happened after that month?
I like that. That's a
I'll
different
probably
way
that's a
know
smart way to
ex-
think
yeah.
I'll probably be packing.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I know exactly where I'm going.
Yeah, 1 month to get your affairs in order
Yeah.
for the next phase.
Yeah, he might be out in the week. You don't know everything gone.
Exactly.
Do you find it hard to sleep at night?
I don't.
What? I don't sleep. Weezy. Yeah, Weezy, man. Yeah. Hell yeah. That was tight. That's like the best celebrity. You know. I don't know, Dan Aykroyd's pretty good too, though. The connections between the CIA's, MK Ultra's, Alan Dulles, Robert Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein, Donald Trump, and UFOs, Part 3 and 4. Yeah, okay, Langley. Okay, Langley. Okay. Alien photo thread. I don't know what that is. It's somebody trying to hype their old post. Friends keep secret? I don't know who that is. What is it? Little Big Planet, like isn't that like a kid's thing? Yeah. Yeah, isn't that the character from the book? Isn't it a reference to the book? Right? Crash retrieval from the Forbidden Zone in the Grand Canyon? I never heard this story. What the fuck? I want to go in the Forbidden Zone. I'm a shed. Dude, oh, come on. I'm a shed. 30 plus crash retrievals that have been recovered globally. Who said this? I'm a shed did? The craft still buried under an international airport in the Baltic. Eden, Nevada, 12 bodies recovered. Timmendorf 68, a disc was dismantled into six parts and another 12 bodies were found. May 89, South Africa, 2 live bodies were found, so 2 living aliens then. Siberia, 9 survivors, July of 89. Some have been brought down by the US using EMP and scalar technology. This is in Haimashed's book. Cylindrical craft found in the rubble in Kiev after World War II by the Russians, and the knowledge derived from that craft enabled them to significantly advance their missile and space programs. Who told you this? An elliptical craft 100 feet in length was found at the foot of Comanche Point in the Grand Canyon, and radiocarbon dating said the craft had been there since at least 2000 BC. Wow. Base of the Forbidden Zone, the Grand Canyon. Mr. Kincaid found a lot more than he was telling the local newspapers at the time. Nice to know that area is secret, just not sacred to the Hopi tribe. That area is sacred, just not sacred to the Hopi tribe. More like a sacred site for ancient technology for Division K of the CIA. Moreover, the pyramids within the Grand Canyons were made in the image of the Orion's Belt. A mirror image of the Giza Plateau. Up for a little trip to the Grand Canyon. I want to see if anyone walks out of the walls like Sidonia. Ooh. We got live bodies, y'all. Yeah.
What's up, humans, and welcome to a new Psicoactivo. Happy Thursday, everybody, and it's Comic-Con week, so I am attending Comic-Con. I got a badge. Thank you to my good friend Alan Levine for facilitating badges for me and my wife. I really appreciate it, man. I'm gonna meet you there, I think on Friday, and I'm also trying to meet there Thomas Jane, who is well known in the UFO community. He's nominated for a comic book that he wrote, so that's really exciting. So because of that, I am going to try and leave videos early, but I will not be part of Doomer Friday tomorrow. So for today's video, I just want to start with, I'm gonna cover one of the LAPs that Joe Murgia claims he posts. Joe Murgia is
I got it for my kids, but they never played it.
Extensively. He seems to have direct access to Dr. Eric Davis and other people from the community. And I'm going to show you some of those interactions today. But before that, because one of my previous videos was about how some of the people coming forward are hesitant to come forward. And I've already seen a bunch of reactions to that it's bullshit after all, and why are they hiding? You can come forward now. They can in private. Yeah, they can.
I don't want to go through Stephen. I wouldn't want to go through Stephen Miller.
Something in writing, and I'm gonna get a little bit more specific, thanks to Dr. Eric Davis here. But in the Fox News report, where the NDAs that are waived are announced from the administration, they said that it was retired government workers and contractors. And I just asked the question, is it just retired or also active? And the acting director of national intelligence, Mr. Aaron Lucas, wrote the following. He said, President Trump is delivering on his commitment.
This guy is a major debunker.
Okay. With non-disclosure agreements no longer standing in the way, current and former government employees and contractors with relevant UAP
Or, he's a teal guy.
can
He's
come
a
forward
Collins
through
Elite
clear
guy.
channels. ODNI Gov will soon issue guidance to ensure the intelligence community swiftly and consistently implements the president's directive. The problem here is that
No, Tulsi got too
why
close to
would
the
they need
truth,
to go
so they had to
to
get rid of her.
the government that allegedly has the secrets, and ODNI that, according to Corbell and Knapp, have been messing with a lot of people, with them, and also Dylan Borland came out to report how they mess with
That
him.
guy testified in
Matthew Brown did the
Congress, and
same
everyone
thing.
pretended like he
They're
was some
supposed to
fucking
trust
right-wing crank.
them.
Which I'm sure he was,
That's
but
hard. I don't think that is going to happen. But there are
That's
other
not all he
major
was.
concerns from people. And shout out to Joe Murgia, who has been very active on X today. If you want to check out what he's been writing today,
that guy sucks.
I'll let you know.
I
But this
used
is
to
from
like him, but
yesterday.
he's such a pain
And
in
I'm
the
gonna go
ass. He's
through it.
constantly
It's not that long.
debunking
really.
himself.
He has one way longer from today. About that comment that Corbell did about Tim McMillan and the debrief. So if you want to check that out, that's right there. I'm gonna leave it in the description. But let's focus on this because Joe Murgia has an exclusive from Dr. Eric
Jack
Davis, who he
Birdreel
has
says
access
happy
to.
Friday, chat.
Yeah, happy
It says,
great day to
quote,
fill up your
Trump's
gas
order
tank.
does not forbid
happy Friday
committing
to the
acts of
subscribers.
official or
Non-subscribers
unofficial
get
off-books
fucked.
retaliation against whistleblowers, end quote. That's from Davis. And then he says,
Funny how nobody ever
quote,
subscribes
"The
after I
TRW
say that.
source will never come forward, end quote. And then it says,
No, but
exclusive,
seriously, please subscribe.
Dr. Eric Davis on Trump's reported UFO
You'll love it
edict
here.
or mandate. I don't know what it is. So it says, from Joe. Joe writes in parentheses, just so you know, just received this
How else
comment
would
from
you
Dr.
know
Eric Davis on
which of these
the
UFO
Trump
guys to
edict,
fucking...
as reported yesterday by Philip Morgan. Now, Davis and others can spill their UFO guts in public, as some folks have claimed.
If you were
And
just
I don't know if
dipping
you
your
guys heard
toe
about
into this shit,
little
you would
clip
have
from
no
Dr.
idea
Davis.
who was who.
We have alien spaceships in our possession.
You would have no
We have
idea
bodies.
who's credible or
Where
not.
and why can't I get the specifics to verify those claims?
If the President of the United States issued an executive order that
Yeah, not a fucking tweet.
absolves me of all of my TSSCI NDAs. NDAs are non-disclosure agreements. Those are the agreements we have to sign for every compartment in our SCI clearances. So if the President waives or absolves my obligation to those NDAs, and I get subpoenaed by Congress, somebody on Capitol Hill, some committee, either in the Senate or the House or the both, to reveal everything I know that I learned from my investigations, both unclassified and classified, into the legacy UAP, crash retrieval, and hardware reverse engineering and NHI programs, I would do so. If I could be waived from that or absolved in some fashion by presidential order, and if Congress subpoenas me, yes, I would go and tell them everything.
So, based on that, this is the context that Eric Davis is giving. He says, Trump's order, which doesn't add value to the same NDA waiver language already in a previous NDAA that was enacted into law, isn't about sharing classified UAP information with the public. It's about sharing classified information with Arrow and Pursue in a classified setting. Trump did not issue an SF-312 NDA waiver for us whistleblowers to reveal classified information to the public. 99.9% of Americans just don't understand how their government works. And by the way, Hal Puthoff and I already shared
Who the fuck
our
knows
classified
stuff like
UAP
that?
information with
Dude.
Representative Luna and her task
Oh yeah, no, I
force,
know the rules for
Arrow,
like,
and certain law enforcement
a
agency.
whistleblower
And I shared my
like
information
protection.
with the SSCI twice and the SASC, end quote. So, the other law enforcement agency.
Oh, bro, you didn't know how
is
the
FBI, because
you didn't know how the whistleblower reprieve grace period operates. What, dude? There's a public-private distinction on whistleblower law. Fucking read a book. Who the fuck would know something like that? You don't know how your government works. No, yeah, I didn't know how the whistleblower exemption law operated. No, sorry.
They have been speaking to everybody, and it kind of seems like the FBI maybe found out about
What did
something
Gerb say?
that is making them
He
move
lied
on
to
this
Gerb's
topic
face.
very
Yeah, I
aggressively
don't really trust
behind the
him. Yeah.
scenes. And they seem to already have made up their mind that some elements of the CIA
I think Gerb and
are
Grush.
involved in the secrecy. So currently it's difficult.
Yeah,
as you may
that's why they
understand.
brought that Lucas
So,
guy in,
let's
man. I'm
continue.
telling you.
Murgia says, do you think this may encourage whistleblowers such as your
Major
TRW
debunker.
source and others to come forward behind the scenes to Arrow or Pursue in a classified
Who would
setting?
want to go talk to Arrow?
Davis, I don't know the answer to this because Trump's order did not forbid committing acts of official or unofficial off-books retaliation against whistleblowers.
What?
In other words, the earlier SF-312 NDA waiver and an earlier enacted NDAA and Trump's waiver order of yesterday do not address the protection of whistleblowers from government or unofficial off-books retaliation or impose serious consequences upon those who commit acts of retaliation against whistleblowers. My TRW source will never come forward. What she experienced, this is a woman, and the extreme monitoring, the WUSAP security regime during employment and the SF-312, plus the monitoring after
You're telling
she
us it's a
quit
woman at
that
TRW.
she was under while at TRW scared the ontologist shock into her. Whoa, end quote. And then Joe says, I really hope he's wrong about that. Dr. Davis told me he has recent information that she is still alive despite what others have said on here. And comments by Dr. Davis. As a reminder, Dr. Puthoff told me this a week ago. Murgia, quote, like Eric Davis, would you agree to share all that you know on UFOs publicly if the president waived your NDAs? And then Puthoff says, depends on the language, security restraints.
Yeah.
And then Murgia says,
Dude, no one's gonna do
"Are you
anything
able
based
to
on
tell us
Trump
what
tweeting
committees
shit,
you have
you know?
briefed in
No
recent years?"
chance.
Puthoff, Senate Armed Services Committee,
It's a
Senate
honeypot
Select Committee
anyway.
on Intelligence, and Arrow.
It's
Okay.
like, come talk to
And if
Stephen
you're
Miller
wondering
about
what the TRW
UFOs.
source is,
Yeah, okay.
this is from a recent interview. He talks about a lady named Mary Elizabeth Elliott. So here it is.
I just know that one aerospace company that ran their program at Wright-Patterson circa the 1990s, from not long after the birth of this company to the
Freudian
end of the
slip.
80s. They had an intact craft.
Dr. Davis denied that crash retrieval programs were a big thing, basically, and Gerber the most shocked face. Really?
One of their engineers or scientists working on it. So I think he was inside the craft. So it's
Interesting.
not manual human style control systems. It's a completely different type of control system. Definitely not anthropocentric, anthropomorphic or anything. He was desperately touching things to try to get something to work, and he accidentally activated it and levitated. And he couldn't figure out how to turn it off. So my source at TRW for that said that craft was just left levitating in the hangar, in a secured classified hangar, and That's how they had to leave it, because nobody could figure out how to reverse the controls to shut it down.
What? I don't buy that.
So, Dr. Eric Davis is very specific about that, and I think this is also something that people like Dylan Borland or Matthew Brown agree on, because those types of off-books retaliations seem to be exactly what these guys have gone through. And they're going to be denied. They're going to smear them as they did with David Grush. Those types of things need to have protection.
Those guys,
for the whistleblowers
they
and
can
for
take
people
care.
who go
Eric
forward.
Davis can
And
take care of himself.
When and if this executive order or a presidential memo maybe is written, these details like this one have to be included there by the president and the administration, because that would be one of the only ways that these people are not thinking this is a honeypot operation or a catch and kill, as I told you yesterday. So let me know what you guys think about this, and kudos to Murgia for this exclusive with Dr. Davis. Great work, man. And I'm trying to get him on the show, maybe for a live show if he's able to. He told me that he would.
Welcome back.
Yeah, is it still there?
Seriously. We've got Cousins Brothers, and we've got the latest UFO
Give me Dr.
videos.
J.
Before we get
Dude,
to that,
I'm sick of the
we
Cousins
invite you
Brothers.
to show up to the LA UFO meetup at Sequoia Park.
Dr.
It's
J is so much better.
this Sunday,
Dr. J and
July
Apollo.
26th, from 11 to 4 p.m. There's an invitation to extraterrestrials to show up. We hope you show up. Third Phase Moon is going to be there. We want to see you.
Dude,
Now,
I
let's get
wish
to
I
the
was
latest
there.
UFO videos.
We need
This one
Dr.
coming
Do
in
meet
from
up.
San Diego, California. Brian Garcia submitted this to our Gmail earlier today. This was captured July 19th.
What the fuck is that?
Guys,
man?
take a look at this.
It looks like a satellite. Looks like one of those loon satellites. It's like some Google shit or something. It's definitely man-made, whatever the fuck it is. Oh my god, dude, we'd have. Oh my god. I'm up here with my boy Kodos and Kang. It's the one right here, y'all.
All right, what did Brian Garcia capture over San Diego?
You
We're
ever
looking
want
at it
your
right
Mountain
now.
Dew
This isn't no
and your
kind of
alien
balloon,
juice? And you don't know what you
advertisement
want your
that's
alien juice or
kinda
your Mountain
untethered
Dew.
and drifted
So you
away.
just
This
drink
is
them
something
both.
else. This thing seems to be something that defies explanation. We're looking at something incredible right now.
Look at that. It just went behind the line as it's drifting or hovering.
Defies
as you might
explanation,
say,
man.
over
It's
San
like
Diego.
moving
And
at balloon
this person,
speed.
Brian, look at this close-up he's getting. This is a great
Yeah,
shot.
This is dumb. It's stupid. This is some
As you
fucking.
notice, there's structure to this spacecraft, if you
Yeah,
call
no,
it that.
it's
It
a
looks
fucking
metallic.
balloon or something,
I don't see no
man. Look
wings,
at
no
it.
propellers. What's keeping this thing up in the sky is a big question.
Like,
this thing's wild.
No, man, that's dumb.
Everything seems to match up. We're not seeing any kind of indication of CGI or
It's like a Chinese
any
lantern, maybe?
manipulation of AI. We're looking at something legitimate.
It
Look at
morphs
the
into
raw
an
metadata
alien.
coming in from Brian.
This
and
is not the
time
one.
and place. It all seems to match up. We're looking at something that's unexplained. Guys, give us a big thumbs up. We've got a lot of UFO videos
Too old for
in this
Twix
episode.
says,
So
"Did
The
we
New
like
Earth
Imagine
Dr.
also
Do will
watch
have his
the
own.
They look
comments.
rad.
What's going on over San Diego?
We'll have his own
Out of
soda pop
Bogota,
bar in the
Colombia.
asteroid
Watch.
belt. Mountain Dew on tap, y'all. Oh man, that'd be so sick. He never showed the Mountain Dew boots. Yeah. Oh, you think you're being sneaky, huh?
Qué raro. And we're looking at an incredible sighting out of Colombia.
Right there.
We're getting some close-up enhancements, the original to the left and the blown-up version to the right. We're looking at it very close again, and this resembles to me like a pyramidal-shaped craft in the sky, but we're not seeing any kind of indications of a drone or a blimp. This is very
I mean, people know drones.
And right now, I'm
because
scratching
they're
my
so
head.
loud.
People on the ground in Bogota, Colombia, are also scratching their heads and asking the big questions. What is this? Brett, what's your thoughts here?
I don't know. I gotta say, whatever this is, it's massive. It's something that we've never seen before. It almost resembles this black mass. And if you look at the geometric shape, it's really weird. Some people might say this is a kite, but I'll rule that out entirely. This is entirely something different. What we're looking at still I'm still scratching my head, but what do you think the size is of this thing, Blake? I'm going to say it's at least the size of a school bus.
What I like about this is, you know, shooting at night and trying to catch a UFO at night is pretty tricky, but the person who shot this got quite lucky because you're going to get this atmospheric light that you're seeing behind the craft, so it makes it stand out. We're getting some comparisons with the building, the wires, and look how he zooms in and out. I would have to say this is at least 40 to 60 feet long, but I could be wrong. It could be a little smaller or a little bigger, but approximately that size, and definitely big enough to hold a few individuals the size of humans in there easily. Brett, what's your thoughts on what's keeping this
How's
thing
Dr.
afloat
Do feel about
and
disclosure?
stationary?
Yeah, I gotta say, this is not a balloon. This thing's just static. It just stays so pinpoint in the sky. It doesn't move an iota. We're looking at it very closely, and you can see it just stays in the same spot.
Dr. Do has a horse? Oh no, this is a different guy.
At the end, or did anybody else on the ground film this? Is a big question.
Now, this is interesting. We received this video, and we're sharing the link below. I want you guys to take a close look.
Does Mountain Dew ever retweet Dr. Do?
Off the coast of Texas. Buckle up.
Does the main Mountain Dew account ever retweet Dr. Do?
Weird.
Shout out to my little bro, Dr. Do. Yeah, they should, man. He hypes Mountain Dew so much. They might not like him because he's too edgy and controversial with his bold soda advocacy. Woke cancel culture mob going after Dr. Do for the love of Mountain Dew. He's under attack. Just like me.
That's so weird. Not just fucking
Mobs of rampant debunkers have been hounding me everywhere I go. They're trying to debunk. Yeah, I might go buy some Mountain Dew actually.
Yeah, the other three lights that were glowing.
I haven't had a Mountain Dew in a while. I might like it. Maybe I'll drink it fast. Thinking I want to go drink some Mountain Dews quickly. That's a boat, man. Oh no, it's moving, huh? I guess these guys live on the beach. They know what a fucking boat out in the distance looks like. That's like those guys in New Jersey were describing, huh? They just turn their lights on. Is it gonna fly right overhead too? Shit. Whoa. Look at that fucking thing, man. Holy shit. Wow. Damn. That's pretty unsettling, huh? It's right there.
All right,
I mean,
we're
these
gonna
guys
look at
work
this
on an
video
oil
again. I'm
rig?
slowing
They
it
know what
down
a
just
boat looks
little
like,
bit,
don't
and
they?
I'm thanking Wayne Lyon for capturing this. This is pretty interesting. We're going to be, again, supplying the original link to Wayne Lyon's
Yeah, I guess
YouTube
that is a
video.
boat, huh?
What was captured off the coast of
Yeah, it's a
Texas
boat.
is incredible. What are we looking at? Is this some kind of military exercise? We're seeing
No, you can
something
see the
actually
boat,
detached
man.
from these formation of glowing lights. Let's just look at it a little closer and see how many objects descend off this thing. I'm seeing glimmers of one or
Where is
two or
it?
three
I don't
different
know.
orbs trying to... What is this? Do you see this
Like I
shadow?
said, I
underneath,
would think
the
these guys
orbs
would
of lights
know.
as well.
Those would be weird lights for a boat to
looking at
just
this,
have lights on there.
Kind of the
Wouldn't
same
it
time
have
as you
lights in
are.
the
We got
front?
all these videos just
You
in,
know,
we
so
put
it
on
just
the
has these
timeline and we're
lights on
looking
in
at
the
it.
galley or whatever.
And I'm kind of seeing a
That
little
doesn't
closer.
seem-
You see the birds fly by. That's pretty
Wouldn't a
amazing.
boat have
Good
headlights?
capture at night again, but Brett, could this just be military flares? What's your thoughts?
Dr. Drew is onto something. You get
Yeah, it's
high off
interesting. We see
it.
these kind of formation of lights over the ocean, and Wayne Lyon did
Yeah,
state
no,
that
I
he
don't-
didn't
I don't
see
think
any
that's a
vessel
boat.
out over the water there. And what a great capture, man! Good job. And again, what are we looking
A
at?
boat
I
would
don't see
definitely
these
have lights
descending,
like
or
around it,
or
you know?
are they falling towards the ocean? They look rather static to me, but to see these other orbs definitely releasing itself into the ocean, some people might say this is a USO craft. And maybe they're right, because what we're looking at is really fantastic. It's interesting and still unidentified. It's these glowing lights. They possibly could be flares, but then again, why aren't they falling to the ocean?
Yeah, and we're not seeing any kind of craft that disperse these flares, if that's what they are. But look at the incredible imagery that we're looking at. On
You
the
guys
open
want to know
ocean.
something?
And then
All right.
you're capturing
I got
this,
you guys a
and
drink that
we're
y'all.
getting explosions here. It's still New Year's Day, but you could hear some pops in the background. But as we're looking at this, we got a New Year's display of incredible lights out there over the ocean. And again, this video lasts for quite some time, and these lights remain pretty stationary. We don't see any kind of smoke trails that I'm seeing descend or rise from these objects. So in my opinion, this is unexplained.
It's the one right here,
And
yo.
as far as the eyewitness themselves, it's unexplained to them too. They're looking for some
Y'all wanna know
answers. So
something?
anybody out there
Alright.
off the coast of Texas see anything strange in the over the ocean there, you let us know. Brent, any last words on this video before we get to the next one?
Just getting started. We just showcased 2 videos, and these 2 are fantastic submissions right here. Loving it. Again, why do we still see the lights still static? Usually flares would drop down. It looks like the conditions over the ocean too look a little rough as well. So I see wind on the water itself, and these things aren't moving left to right. They're totally stationary. So it's, again, a mystery.
And if this is one craft, one large craft just sitting out there, hovering out there, again, this object, if that's the case, would be massive. And I would consider this to be half a football field size, or maybe a full football field sized craft just hanging out there. And I don't think it's an airplane coming in the direction towards the people on the boat. It's too low to the ocean. Very bizarre. Now, we got another video that we just witnessed just a few moments ago, and I'm happy to share it with you right now, right here on Third Phase of Moon. Give us a big thumbs up. Let's get to it. Roll the next shot.
Mano, olha isso, velho. Ixi, sumiu. E apareceu de novo. Olha isso, mano. Olha lá, mudou de direção. Tá vindo pra frente. Ixi, caiu um pedaço.
Didn't I rate him 4 and he ignored me?
Sumiu. Olha lá, dá pra ver ainda.
It has the characteristics of a firework, in my
You
opinion.
didn't
But
even
it's
acknowledge
interesting.
our
Usually
presence?
Fireworks dissipate. They don't
Yeah.
just, come to a dead stop and then turn into an orb, disappear, and then reappear, and then do the same flight pattern again. And it's kind of
You
bizarre.
gotta
Usually
glaze me,
firework
but you
kinda
gotta
just
at least say
descends
hi.
in a straight line. This thing stops again. It hovers.
It'd be moving
It's
down
actually
with the
hovering
weight.
there. Look at
Yeah.
this. It's just sitting there. Fireworks don't just
No, that's
sit
the
there,
thing,
and then
dude.
moves
Why is
slightly
it
to the
moving
left,
like that?
a little upward. Looking at
It's
this
also
very
not how
closely,
asteroids
drops
or
another
second stages
strange
move.
thing from its underbelly, and then disappears out of existence. Incredible stuff. Wow, we got to watch this again. This is an amazing video. At
Dude,
first, I was just going to
classic
dismiss
maneuver.
it as a firework, but now looking at it again, this is something unusual, Brent.
Yeah, it looks like it has three stages. First, it's stationary, then it goes into this kind of zigzag motion. If
Like
this
he
was
was
a drone
fucking
with
big dogging
pyrotechs,
us,
drones
and he
really
had,
can't
like, 6
perform
viewers.
a maneuver like this. So that's odd in itself.
man?
It could be something entirely different, and then it just disappears, like you said. And
Yeah, I've
reappear,
never
and
seen
then it
one like
stops
this,
again.
but I have seen them
This is some
drop
of the
sludge,
strangest
though, right? That's pretty common.
pyrotechnic firework I've ever seen, if that's what it is. And if it's not that, what in the hell is it?
Incredible footage. That's right, Brent. And
There's
we're
that famous
asking the questions,
thermal one
what
in
is
the
it? And I want to
UK.
get your guys' comments. Now we got a couple more videos that I want to share with you.
Which makes sense to me. Like, if there's some sort of fusion reactor inside of the craft, like having waste products, you know, like kind of like it looks like it's like cleaning out the spit valve or something. Something like that. You know, like even if you were doing like some sort of clean fusion process, you would occasionally develop like exhaust of some sort, right? Like resin or some crap, you know?
So let's get started with this one.
I don't think it's a camera. No, because then it was out of focus for just that one part. I guess that's something crappy your cameras do, right? If they have a bad frame rate, it looks choppy like that. What's wrong with it? He did a 13-minute long skit. It wasn't funny. Point it and not blurry.
What we're looking at over the Andes mountain range over Chile, an airplane passenger apparently captures a huge ship over the Andes.
That's weird.
The
That looks like some
Chilean
sort of optical
named
illusion.
Rodrigo,
I
a
don't know.
passenger, said that he was on his way from
That's
Puerto
weird.
Montt to Santiago, and he witnessed this impressive
So was it a cigar
presence of
shape or is it a flying
tubular-shaped
saucer?
UFO just hovering over the Andes mountain range. He was able to capture several videos that leave no doubt that there's something going on, and I want to get your guys' opinions. What the heck is this? This thing is massive. I don't think it's a lenticular cloud, in my opinion. I've seen a lot of lenticular clouds. Could it be? It's a possibility.
You don't knock it out of the park
If
every
this
try.
is a craft, and it's a large one, I'm putting some brightness contrast on this thing, and it seems that there has some geometric shape to it. It doesn't seem natural, in my
Geopolymer.
opinion. It seems very
Geopolymer
out
shape.
of the norm, and
Yeah,
we're
I don't
looking
know.
at it. I'm wondering
It
if
doesn't look
other
like it's
people were able to
mountains, right?
Capture the same phenomenon. Brett, what's your thoughts of this strange craft, and how large do you
Maybe
think
you
it
can't
is?
see it from the
but
ground.
these
I
are
bet
your
you can only
typical
see it from the
cigar-shaped
sky.
UFOs, but could this be the one
probably blends
that
into the
breaks
sky
it all
somehow.
open? This one's really good. I like what Rodrigo captured, and he says this was monumental in size. I believe that. This thing's
Still looking
huge.
for
I
his
would say
multiverse?
It looks almost like a half a mile wide, and
That
it
looks
does look
fucking
tubular.
big, yeah.
I'm looking at it a little closer, Brandon. I'm just kind of wondering.
I wonder
could
if
it
it's
be
some sort of
CGI?
surveillance
Are we looking
thing.
at
It's not
some kind of
CGI.
possible hoax here?
No way.
I'm not sure. I want to get your guys' opinion. I'm seeing it, and I'm not really seeing any deception. I guess I'm going to rule out CGI. I see the variance of motion with the camera. I'm adding some brightness contrast. I don't see anything fishy. I was just throwing it out there. I'm not exactly sure. Brett, your thoughts? Is this legit?
It's a good question. We're looking at that first video, and I see that Rodrigo recorded a second video, and it's definitely a different shot, and we can rule out CGI. Whatever we're looking at is present over the skies of the Andes Mountains. So is this a hot spot for UFOs? I think so. Chilean aircraft have seen UFOs all over the place, especially the military.
Guys, I want you guys to look at this very closely. This is coming in from NASA. And after we do a little enhancement on this, something pops out, something in space that resembles a metallic flying saucer with portals. You can see this very clear. NASA, can you give us an answer? What's going on? I really want to know.
That's Isaacman's escape craft.
Questions.
Get
and
back to his
NASA's
home
not giving us
planet.
many answers in regards to some of the data, the content that they're capturing. Brent, what's your thoughts on this incredible metallic flying saucer in space next to the ISS?
Yeah, it's almost the shape of a hockey puck, but when you look closely, you see these portholes kind of beaming out of it, and it's kind of interesting. We had to highlight this image to make it kind of
people need to wake the fuck up and recognize.
And we're seeing it closely.
Look at that shit.
What is this? Is this a reflection? I'm leaning
reflection,
not towards that direction. I'm leaning towards something that, again, is this one of ours or something otherworldly?
And if you guys are enjoying this, please give us a big thumbs up on this live premiere, because we even have more UFO sightings for you. And if you got any answers,
his parents sit over the cloud.
NASA
really?
Footage, please. I want to see it in the comments. Now, let's get to this. Japan. Broad daylight sighting. Something
lame.
perched up on a mountain. Watch this.
That's what I mean. It's just like a random episode with this channel. It's fucking. Yeah. Yeah, good call.
So I'm getting a closer look in this. I'm slowing the video down so we can make out exactly what this disc-shaped object perched on the mountain is. Could it be a structure built up on the mountain?
Yeah, that's what's his name's house.
Dangerous, in my opinion. If this is a structure, if there's any earthquakes or any kind of activity, this thing would topple over. I'm not exactly sure. We're looking for answers, and right now we don't have the exact location. We did get permission granted from the
or is it a crane lowering it
we're
down?
Trying to find out this exact location so we can get back there and see if this metallic object or building, if this is what it is still there. Because if it isn't, we've got something here, people. This is not manipulated footage. Whatever this is, it's there. And in my opinion, it resembles a large metallic disc-shaped object with some kind of metallic dome over it. Brent, what's your thoughts on this initially?
Yeah, the submitter, you can see that they're trying to capture this. It's almost a struggle. And then they get some good close-ups of it, and it comes into focus. And we see this kind of flying saucer with a dome on top of it. It's highly reflective off the sun. You can see it gleaming right there. Again, is this a building perched up there? Some people might even say that there may be entrances into these mountains that we've seen before. I know Area 51 has these secret doorways that probably have their secret assets in there where you're going to see a UFO fly out of it. Again, we need to know the location, and if we do and this thing's not there, then we're looking at something that isn't explained, and we need to find this out pretty soon.
That is fucking weird. That has baffled me.
Baffled.
No, it's there.
What is it?
Oh, God.
Looks like a taco.
Interesting.
It's moving.
Just interesting. It's just interesting.
It's a bit weird. What is it? What is it?
It's just interesting. Attack.
Looks like a balloon. I don't know.
All right, we're going to get a little
Trash
closer
bag.
look. I'm slowing the video down so we can stabilize as well this particular object in the sky that resembles, people are saying it right now in the chat, a TR-3B. We're looking at this thing, and it is massive in size. We can see the comparison to the bird that's very close to the camera, in my opinion. And you see the poles, the street lights, going in front of this triangular object.
Why is it flying over?
This object is at least 30 to maybe 50 feet in length. What are we looking at? Again, permission granted. We just received this video just moments ago, and we're sharing it as fast as possible to you right here at Third Phase of Moon. So what was captured in Wiltshire, UK? Again, you can see the craft traverse behind the trees, again, giving it size and dimension, in my opinion, at least 40 to 50 feet in length. It's peculiar in its way of dynamics.
What's he doing?
Some people might say that it could be a kite. Brent, what's your thoughts on this?
It's pretty big, man.
Yeah, Blake, this one's really cool. I like what we're looking at. Definitely, we're looking at something that's just kind of just stationary, and we get great close-ups. That's the best part. We can see that the guy's driving and actually getting a really good vantage point right there. We're getting it. And then he zooms in. This thing kind of has stealth-like qualities. It's black. There's really no shine coming off of it. It's pretty...
It's right fucking there, man. You can see it plain as day, whatever it is.
Again, look at these pictures. It's good. It's stable. We're not seeing any blurriness. It's pretty clear.
It's definitely something there. I don't know what it is.
Has a lot of information in it.
It's weird.
Do we see any wobble like a kite would, or is it drifting? It seems kind of intelligent in its own flight.
Take a look. Is this a weird object or what? And what's up with these UFOs that are...
Yeah, we thought the triangle ones were ours.
Volcanoes. This thing
usually don't see them during the day like that.
But it's illuminated in the dark sky, and then kind of zips off and dematerializes.
Oh shit!
Is it just dissipating? Is it something from the volcano itself? It comes from behind the mountain, not from the crater itself. So what could this possibly be but a UFO?
What volcano is it?
We don't know what it is. Again, we're not claiming we're experts.
Is it
but we are experts, in my opinion, getting the word out as fast as possible. The information that continues to come in rapid fire. So again, the correlation between those volcanoes, I want you to take a close look at this object.
I need to know which volcano it is. That's Popocatépetl.
At the upper portion of the video, it just stands there. It just stalls and then descends downward, and then boom, it picks up speed, stops.
Wow.
We're going to look at this closer. Again, that's I don't think this is a drone, guys. This is very unusual.
Some are skunk works and some are legit. Like legit, like theirs.
Just like picks up this descent. Drones don't really drop at a
I thought this webcam was a little bit further back. This is really close. I don't know about this one.
Down at a consistent rate. And then the activity across these volcanoes, the same volcano.
Is it the same volcano?
We've seen a lot of UFO videos from this Mexican volcano over and over again, and continues.
You know, they're legit too, because you see them on the webcam.
Brent, any thoughts on
you know, it's like a public
live
stream. And you can just
we
log
have
in
an
and see
active
shit.
volcano right here in Hawaii, and we've been hearing reports
of
strange lights in the skies over the past couple months, and now kind of volcanic activities launching all over the world. What is it? Is there a correlation going on? These strange lights and orbs that we see next to these volcanoes always remain a mystery, but we're capturing them on camera, and that's the best part. What is it? What are they? These orbs, are they living, or are they interdimensional spacecraft coming close to hot active volcanoes?
Yeah, I like that. My theory about gathering materials from the volcanic vents or whatever, you know, like
you got to think, people, that with the activity with UFOs and
sulfur
volcanoes,
or something.
Again, we're looking at this shot in the daytime, and it's very interesting. We're highlighting it.
That's why they flash.
It just hovers there, and then again, it seems
it's part of the
like there's some intelligence behind it. Then
they have to digest. They have to flash to digest it or something.
Stations out, and I guess the cameraman lost it. I really like this shot. It's definitely not a bird. It could be a drone. But again, the activity around the volcanoes in South America and around the world, even here in Hawaii.
I don't know what kind of drone could do that.
there's a connection, and I think you guys agree with us on this one. So you guys want more UFO videos? Hit that thumbs up right now, and we'll continue on with more incredible sightings from around the world. Guys, I want you to take a close look at this.
Perros. Sana. Susi. Sana. Vijaya. Salga a la cancha. Vijay. Vijay, que es una... No veas eso como está cayendo por un lado.
Uy, marica, ya me da miedo.
Ya en el cielo. Eso no es una cometa.
Cielo. Cielo. Cielo.
Vienen por usted, Susana. ¿Qué, güey? No, la hizo.
Sí.
¿Y eso está por donde Pedro? Vela, ese vale. Ay, sí.
Pero se metió.
Se bajó. Ay, ya se metió. Ya.
Colombia, a broad daylight sighting of a disc-shaped object hovering over a small neighborhood, a village. They're lucky enough to capture this. Unfortunately, it was shot on a potato, I have to say. The camera's not that great, but who cares? Look at the evidence that we're looking at.
Damn.
On a downward trending motion, and it seems
That's the
that
same
it
one from the
landed
other
in
day.
the forest. Within the forest, it's interesting. We're getting size and dimension again. This is great. I'm having to guess that this object, we're looking at the blown up version of it. I probably in about 100%, maybe a little bit more. This object is at least 50 to 100 feet in length here. And look, it starts to disappear behind the canopy. I'm looking. You see it? It goes behind the canopy of the tree line there, and you can see the forest background.
Yeah, it's hard to tell what that
again,
is.
we're getting this size and dimension. What is it? It's definitely not a helicopter.
Could
it's
it
not
be
a
a
hang
plane
glider. It's not a
far
blimp.
out? No.
It looks like a disc.
No, it looks like
this
it's
is incredible
descending.
footage coming out of South America, Colombia, guys. We even have more videos coming up, and I want to get your thoughts as this thing again.
It looks like it's falling through the canopy, though, doesn't
Colombia. This is
Like
exciting.
it's landing
It
in the
almost reminds me of
forest.
Predator. I don't know. What about you,
Yeah,
Brent?
That's weird.
Almost reminds me of Witch Mountain. You guys remember that one? Hey, look at this thing. It's just slowly descending, and we get a really good close up on this thing. And this thing exactly, it looks like a flying saucer right there. I don't know what to say. Hey, check this one out. New videos coming up right now.
Coming in from our friends over there in Australia. A lot of weird stuff going on. Take a look at this. This was captured over Lake Tinaroo on the 25th of April 2019. Jacqueline Rastrick has given us permission to share this video with you, and we want to get your thoughts. Exactly what's going on here. We could hear from the testimony from Jacqueline and her son that they can explain what's going on. Take a look at this.
Aspen Garfield.
It's getting longer. Look at it.
I can't believe that was her name.
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god.
It's getting longer.
It's getting longer.
Right, so I pulled up the original to the left, and I blew up the one to the right.
That's
that
like
we're
a
looking
weird
at. I
cloud.
added a little brightness contrast.
That's like a demon cloud.
What we're looking at, and it's interesting. We have some kind of a fire
Smoke or
on the
something.
ground.
That's just a weird
Where?
smoke tendril.
What about? Oh, what?
Right there,
Oh,
look.
oh.
I'm going to keep an eye on.
Or it's a flying saucer that eats smoke.
Saucer.
Black thing.
A smoke
Oh, I
eater.
can't. Now I'm checking out this too. Look.
A smoke eater.
Usually when I record something here, the video disappears. So I'm gonna make
It wants
sure
the fumes.
it
It's
stays
there
on
for
my
the
phone.
fumes.
That's some weird shit right there.
Those big carrier helicopters.
Can't wait to post this on Facebook.
What the fuck is this?
Yeah, let's look at this. I notice a smoke. It's moving to the left, but whatever that object is in the center of our picture really stands
Yeah,
out.
it
It
looks
looks
like,
like it's almost part of the smoke itself, and it created a
Huh.
cigar shape, but it's not moving. It's not moving with the wind.
Very strange. You would think that if this was a wisp of smoke, it would have dissipated by now, but it's remaining very stationary in the sky. Anybody else capture this? We want to see your videos, but you can see the direction of the smoke coming from the ground. It's obviously going left, and this thing's just dead center.
Yeah, it's stationary. Take a look at
UFOs
that.
are growing
I'm looking at this,
plasmas.
and I don't really see any other clouds in the sky. I was thinking, could this just be a cloud in the foreground that's just standing there in this frame of an event going on? But then I look closely at
I need
the
to name
color
that
of
theory.
whatever that is. That kind of does look snake-like, matches the consistency of the smoke itself. So I think it's related in what's really going on right up in the sky there. Is this some sort of funnel cloud that's creating like a atmospheric event, a horizontal
Yeah, but it's like it just stood still for a minute.
cloud formation?
Look at the come look here on the phone. Look at these other clouds, just where it's coming out. It wasn't even. It's like it just stalled. Look, it's still staying the same.
What we hear from the eyewitness,
Ooh,
they're basically saying that
black line is
they're
an
kind of freaking
artifact
out.
of
They're
how it looks
stating
from the
that
hard
it's a
side
UFO,
angles.
it's a
Yeah,
flying
something like
saucer,
that, right?
And they're seeing some weird things.
Yeah,
within
because I
the
think a
lake
lot of
at the
them
same
do
time.
have that, where
Some
it's
people
like
might
the
speculate that
camouflage on
there
the bottom,
may be
but
some
not
kind
from
of
the side.
UFO
Yeah.
activity underneath the lake in itself, and that there could be a correlation between this, what we're looking at right now.
Yeah, like you probably
It's
can't see
definitely
it from
strange.
below.
Yeah,
Obviously,
take a look at
there's-
that, Blake. It does look like it's actually getting smaller. Is that the case?
A large cigar-shaped object hovering over the Pacific Ocean. What are we looking at? Listen to this, coming in from Smash Two Dudes. He has some interesting commentary. Listen.
And this craft is...
That looks like it might be on the ocean far out there.
I mean, it
I can't
kind
tell.
of looks like a blimp, but kind of doesn't.
It kind of looks like it's
And
on
it's-
the ocean.
Seems like it's moving fairly slowly.
I don't know, dog.
But it is out over the water quite a ways. And I mean, it's flying slower than a normal airplane. It's
Yeah,
low.
no, it is, huh?
Somewhat.
He's actually doing a pretty good job at zooming in, keeping a steady hand comparatively as best he
I
possibly
guess, yeah,
can.
that is a craft,
It
huh?
does
It's
seem
moving.
like there's something large out there.
Interesting.
It's true.
It's moving faster than
Let's
a
see.
blimp.
I'm not sure. Could
Is
this
this Orcas Island?
Just so happens.
It looks like Orcas Island.
You can see. And of course, my camera won't really focus too well. You can kind of see San Clemente Island out there in the back.
Military helicopter on Oahu.
This craft flying through the air. Which I don't know what it is, but yeah, you can see it cruising across. It just, I mean, I've seen plenty of blimps in my lifetime. It doesn't really look like a blimp, but
Kind of sounds normal.
completely rule it out.
This is kind of, I feel like this is how I would be monologuing this.
Because it's definitely a trippy craft.
I wouldn't say trippy, though. I
And,
never say trippy, you fucking dork. It's trippy, bro.
So,
like a pod groove.
This large object, whatever it is, in the sky over San Clemente seems very symmetrical. Usually, a blimp has some kind of shapes that differ from one end to the other, but
I think
this
it's
is
moving too
symmetrical
fast to be a blimp.
all the way through its horizontal design here. And what exactly we're looking at could be metallic. This thing looks massive. Maybe the size of half a football field. We've heard of large UFOs exiting and entering the Pacific Ocean. Is there maybe some kind of underwater military base releasing UFOs out there? We have thousands of sightings from the coast off San Clemente every year. exactly what's going on below the ocean over there is still a mystery. But
Do we
right now,
have to
we're trying to
read
figure
the
out exactly
account?
what
What's
this
that
object
account?
is. And what do you think, Brett?
Oh, this is
Yeah,
done.
take a look at that. That thing's
Okay.
huge. It looks like your classic flying saucer, that's for sure. If I saw this, I'd film this. Smash Tube dudes, great job on it.
Smash
What
Tube
I'm looking
dudes.
at first I thought it could have been maybe a banner being pulled
Yeah,
by a
Hawaii's got all
small
kinds
Cessna,
of
but then I'm thinking to myself, this thing's moving too slow.
exotic craft.
We want to thank everybody from around the
Yeah, that was a good episode, guys. Way to go. Yeah. Cool. You know, what else was a good episode? The stream that is now concluding. Oh, I wanted to watch that thing about the Siberia, though. Fuck. How long is it? No. So yeah, you should subscribe so we can do this tomorrow. And you probably can't hear the birds. Oh, I do Kairos is on. Fake quest giver. What's up, new chatter? You sound like you're being facetious, but can't really tell. Is that guy even on Tools? I don't even see him. Look. Yeah, every single night at midnight. You want to see what this is, though, real quick. Cool, what time does your boy come on?
The questions which I have repeatedly asked myself throughout my explorations of this pre-flood world is why did these ancient builders select these specific stones to build with, and in particular, their enormous size? Why use such enormous stones, which they would often have to cut and transport from hundreds, sometimes thousands of miles away, and clearly at significantly greater effort than was seemingly once needed? There are, however, a series of clues which do hint at a rather controversial hypothesis regarding just how and why they once accomplished these tasks. Some rather compelling pieces of evidence which over the last few decades have quietly been discovered and investigated. For example, we have the baffling yet incredibly rare ancient vehicle tracks found to have long ago fortunately solidified within the Phrygian Valley within modern-day Turkey.
Why don't we just break Kairos?
Or indeed the equally mystifying ancient tractor, also once found within Turkey during archaeological excavations at Pulur Hoyuk, which although now believed to have been used as a toy, is an ancient upart dated at over 7,500 years old, displaying a perfectly scaled replica of a possible lost technology with it even exhibiting working axles. Placing its creation even with this conservative dating far before the birth of modern agriculture. One may also look at the chariot wheel we covered earlier, found within a prehistoric mine within Russia, or indeed the many chariots which can still be found throughout ancient India, as possible examples of machines they could have once had access to.
And this other guy's got stonks on the screen.
Although predictably We attribute these accomplishments to our more well-studied, yet clearly incapable ancestors, as with so many of the other sites we will visit in the book, due to the extraordinary levels of craftsmanship,
He's
the
watching
artistic
Land of
prowess,
the Lost.
not to mention the ability to also carve such wonders
Why is there only
as
one
the
person
previously
in
covered
there?
Kalish Temple or Kondana Caves, straight out of the bedrock of Earth. All indicative instead of these magnificent chariots, sometimes even depicted as being pulled by a dozen adult elephants or more,
There's nobody
all
in
once
there.
having been very real
Literally
objects.
one person.
Strong physical corroborating evidence to suggest that this now lost civilization, whom were once responsible for the creation of such wonders, would have
It was
indeed
like 5
required
people.
some form of advanced transportation system. And thus, it is not beyond the realms of
Yeah, Land of the
possibility that they
Lost.
could have indeed
Yeah,
once
it's
possessed
pretty funny,
many such
actually.
vehicular technologies. This would indeed also explain how they were once able to create these
What do you want,
gargantuan structures.
Chat?
Yet more importantly,
You want
out of
tanks,
these chosen,
or do you
often
want
gargantuan stones
fucking
and materials?
dinosaur people?
Of course, this would not explain
What
how
are they
that
called?
of the
They have a
Neoliths,
funny
after
name.
the reset, were also able to cut, lift, and transport blocks of a similar size, albeit
like
more
the click
crudely.
clicks or something.
Thus, for now, without further concrete evidence of these machines' past existence, it all remains but
I'm
a
gonna
theory.
go.
However, why they went to such extraordinary efforts in building them, and with such care and precision, clearly to ensure that they indeed survived whatever it was that wiped them out, that perhaps, as I hypothesize to preserve ancient knowledge, they once built these things into the very fabric of these places, to allow
God
for these
damn, look how
lost
big that
ancestors
is.
of a
Oh,
bygone era
shit.
to eventually tell us their tale.
You're always,
Many of the
it's
most
hard to get the
astonishing
scale
feats of
on those
ancient
giant columns. I know, but it's hard in a lot of ways for non-subscribers, I'm sure. But they can change it. Unlike small column temples. I guess a small column temple could change its column, couldn't it? Well, maybe I'll see you tomorrow. Oh, when did I do that? Oh man, fuck. So much we didn't get through. I'm gonna watch Adam Freeland on with Maddie's son. I spent too long scrolling tonight.